Michigan sports aren't just a game, they're a way of life. And now we've got a show dedicated to die-hard sports fans like you. Hosted by a guy who's borderline obsessed with the wins and losses of all your favorite teams.
He's crazy.
Every weekday morning from 9 to noon, Ben Bosscher brings you the talk that matters. The teams, the stories, and the players you care about most. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, built by Bresky Siding and Building Repair.
Remember that. Hello, and welcome into the Ben Bosscher Show, everybody. My name is Ben Bosscher. As you can see, athletes here on this show. Kyle Sandel back producing for us here on 100.9 The Mix. 2 more shows, today, tomorrow, and we'll be back here in this Blaze the Electric studio. Brand new, renovated. Man, I wish we were there today. What a show we have planned out. A random Thursday, Thursday before the Super Bowl. You think we'd be talking about that Super Bowl a lot. Not really. We've got NBA trade deadline is today. Are the Pistons going to make one more move? We've got Skubal arbitration today. And then last night, the Tigers dropped the biggest bomb that we've had on this Tigers organization all offseason. Framber Valdez, one of the 5 best pitchers in the American League, is a Detroit Tiger. We were floored last night. John texted Kyle and I and said, where did that come out of? And you know what I replied? My butt. That came out of my butt. No one saw this coming. 3 years, $115 million. He's the highest AAV for a left-handed pitcher in the history of the sport. Only the Detroit Tigers, though. Only the Detroit Tigers franchise could pull a move off like this, and our initial reaction be, we're not on YouTube today, or we're not on the radio today, so I can say this. Any other franchise, they sign someone like that, it's let's go. It's a celebratory thing. They're going all in. But with this Detroit Tigers thing and the situation they find themselves in, you know what my reaction was? Shit. I was thrilled at first for about 15 seconds. And then I put my head in my hands, and I was like, oh, no. Is this the prerequisite move before Tarik Skubal is dealt? There's 2 ways you can think about this. You can be optimistic, and you can say, okay, the Tigers actually have, now it's undisputed, the best duo of starting pitchers in the American League between back-to-back Cy Young, Tarik Skubal, and Framber Valdez, who's finished top 10 in Cy Young voting each of his 6 years as a starter. There's that way of thinking about it. He's this durable dude, fantastic pitcher, one of the 5 best guys in the American League. And then on top of that, you got Jack Flaherty. You got Casey Mize, all-star Casey Mize. You've got Reese Olson, who, whether he's healthy or not, I guess is kind of up in the air right now. You've got Troy Mellon, who showed great signs last year. You've got Jackson Joe potentially coming back at the end of this season as well. This is a lights-out rotation. Truly, they have recaptured what they had in 2012, 2013, 2014 when they had Verlander and Scherzer. They got Skubal, that second guy. It's no longer, who's hot this month between Flaherty and Mize and Olson. They've got their guy in Framber Valdez. That's one way of thinking about it. They leaned into their strength. First 2 games in a series, you feel like you're going to win. The more realistic way to think about it is probably, did they just sign Tarik Skubal's replacement? A lefty. They go way overspend. Not overspend on him, but overspend more than what we anticipated them doing. There wasn't a single reporter out there that even had floated this idea around. Again, it came truly out of nowhere. So why? Tarik Skubal's arbitrations today, it's going to be either $32 million that they owe him, or it's going to be $19 million that they owe him, depending on what the 3-panel arbiter table goes with. So some of the reporting from Cody Stavenhagen on The Athletic was, okay, if the Tigers are going to lose this arbitration battle to $32 million, that's what they're going to owe him. That's probably it for this offseason. But if they win and only owe him $19 million, well, then there's another $13 million they can spend on a pitcher to add to the rotation. They said, well, we're not even going to wait. we're going to give this guy $32 million a year. There's an opt-out after year 2. Some of it's deferred. Anyway, $32 million a year, highest paid left-handed pitcher ever. Let's pair these guys up. So what's the reasonable way of thinking about this, Kyle? Is it, hey, the Tigers have the best rotation in the American League, like one of the true, could be all-time great rotations. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities. Or is it, oh, man, this is just trying to soften the blow for when Tarik Skubal's traded? Because you and I have been under the same way of thinking. They'd rather just let Tarik Skubal walk and be all in on this season, get their draft pick in compensation for him leaving in free agency, and then suddenly he's gone. And they'd rather go all in than trade him away and not go all in at all. Now that you have Framber Valdez, who's like, even if Skubal leaves, you still have an awesome rotation now, a true ace on the team. You've got 2 of them. Is this oh man, they're just setting it up to potentially move off of Tarik Skubal. What's the proper way of thinking about this?
I think that the first proper way of thinking about this is like, whatever happens with Tarik Skubal, this is a good move for the Tigers. And I think that it's just important to note that, because we're going to do a lot of like, well, what does this move actually mean? You know, and I think we're going to do a lot of that, which is fair, because like, what does this move actually mean? I think that's going to be something that we're going to find out. But nonetheless, this
solving
is
a Zodiac mystery right here. This
right.
is crazy.
But nonetheless, this is an awesome move from a general manager and an ownership group that we just don't view as awesome. So I love Framber Valdez, man. He's one of the few guys that you actually feared in the American League. I think he had the game, though, against the Tigers late in the season last year where he gave up like 10 runs in the first inning. So the Tigers fans are going to remember him for that. But, no, Framber's awesome. These 2 plus Garrett Crochet, probably the 3 best lefties maybe in all of baseball, not even just the American League. And so, yeah, this is for sure a big-time move. But it's hard not to view this from a standpoint of like, this means they're for sure not bringing back Tarik Skubal. Like, if there was any doubt that if you still had any frame that, oh, they could still pay Tarik Skubal. You never know. When they get to the open market, they might still pay Tarik Skubal. That's that's obviously not happening now. Now, you can look at this a few different ways. One, was this a move based off of what we are going to find out today, based on the Tarik Skubal arbitration results? Do they know the results of that, and they made this move? I don't think it's a coincidence, Ben, that this move happens the day of his arbitration hearing.
No, but
right?
it almost makes you think as if they're going to win it, which I find that super hard to believe. See, I laid it out yesterday, and I can explain it again like in 20 seconds. Between Tarik Skubal, he asked to be the highest paid arbiter player in MLB history. He asked for $1 million more than what Juan Soto got a couple of years ago. I don't think that's crazy to ask for, considering back-to-back Cy Young. And because he has the years of service time, the 3 years, he can compare himself to Scherzer or Wheeler or any of the top paid pitchers in baseball and be like, well, I'm better than those guys. Why am I not getting that? I think it's like inconceivable that they lose this arbitration. So if they win it, why was the reporting that if they lost and had to owe him $32 million, they weren't going to spend? Well, now they're spending regardless. I think it's totally natural for us to feel a little bit worried about, like, okay, like, are they actually beating the drum on trading Tarik Skubal, or are they just all in on this season, which is my preferred way of thinking about it. One thing I know for a fact is there's just no way Tarik Skubal's being extended long term now.
Right.
There's no chance.
So you think that they won the arbitration is why they made this move, the Tigers? Like they saved the money, or you're thinking the opposite?
No, that's what I'm struggling to understand right now.
Because the way that I view this is that if this move was based on the Skubal arbitration, which there's a good chance it wasn't. Like there's a good chance they were just in on Framber no matter what, and this was kind of their answer to post Tarik Skubal anyways. Which, once again, this is like based off of what we know about this ownership group, it's a pretty good move off of Tarik Skubal. Here's Framber Valdez. I know that sounds stupid. I know Tigers fans are going to hate that because why not just keep Tarik Skubal? I understand. But I can view this as I think this, if it is based off of the arbitration stuff, they lost the arbitration with Tarik Skubal. And obviously that already there's going to be an odd relationship there based off of what's happened this offseason. But they lost that number. They're paying him $13 million more than they wanted to. And so, okay, now we're just going to go find his replacement and trade him now. That's kind of immediately what I thought. Now, I don't know if they're going to trade him, but nonetheless, this at least adds to the perspective that you and I have both had related on coming into this offseason of, does it make sense for them to trade Tarik Skubal if they're not going to pay him? Of course it does, and they probably should. Do we want them to? No. Give Tarik Skubal his last dance. Give him his one final year. Let's go push for a World Series. I'm going to be way less mad when Tarik Skubal walks in free agency if I'm celebrating a World Series ring.
Oh, you won't be mad at all.
Right. I mean, I still will be a little. I mean, I'll be sad. I won't be mad. I guess I'll just be sad. But
now you're
if
in
you
a
win a World
situation-
Series, then it's just like, then I'm not going to be upset about it. And maybe this is their opportunity to do that.
But now maybe you're in a position to where like, okay, like you at least have to be a little bit more open about, well, what if we just trade Tarik Skubal now before the season even starts and you actually get your return in investments on him the best that you can. Like that has to be at least one avenue that you explore. Like, okay, I'm not saying I want to trade Tarik Skubal. We're 12 hours removed from this news being broken. Like, I don't want to trade Tarik Skubal, but you at least have to sit down and have a really serious conversation now of, well, we have Framber Valdez. We have depending on where we trade Tarik Skubal, maybe the best left-handed pitcher in baseball, in the American League, that is, maybe the second best, but you at least got to beat the drum, because now I'm sure teams are picking up the phone and being like, well, if you're going to sign him, Valdez, well, you're not keeping Skubal, right? This almost seems like a direct message to Tarik Skubal, like, hey, you're not replaceable, doesn't it? Like in the middle of their arbitration day, they have their hearing yesterday. The announcement's coming today on if it's $32 or $19 million that they owe him for a salary in this season. This can't be a coincidence that this happens in between the hearing and the announcement. It feels like a direct message to Tarik Skubal that we can do this without you.
Right, yeah, that's how I feel. I think it's no coincidence. I understand that, like, yeah, the MLB free agency is weird. Guys get signed throughout the entire offseason, but it is not a coincidence that this happens at the same time as all of this. And I personally, as terrible as it sounds, man, I love Tarik Skubal. I've never been more in on trading him. I've never been more in on it. Like,
me too.
It just makes way more sense right now than it did yesterday. And it sucks to say that, because I'm not going to say trade Skubal, but from an organizational standpoint for the Tigers, a team that is not going to pay him. We all know they're not going to pay him. It makes the most sense to do it now.
And I feel like there's been certain checkpoints this offseason of like the arbitration thing basically set it in stone for me. Oh, they're not going to pay this guy. They're clearly not going to do it. They're lowballing him right now. Now them bringing in another pitcher for 3 years and making him one of the highest paid pitchers in baseball. Yeah, like this is like the tombstone finally being put in of his career with the Tigers. There's no way they extend him after this. I think it's now the smart thing to do. I never thought it was. I thought the smart thing to do was just go all in. And I know that was against the grain. I wanted to go all in, try to compete for a World Series.
I mean, this is doing that right now. As of right now, that's what they're doing. Skubal's still on the team, and they are going all in.
Yeah, it's just. Here's the thing: if you're going to trade him, I'd rather them do it before the season than in the middle of it.
Of course. I mean, yeah, no doubt.
This is just. How much would you pay to watch the arbitration hearing today? Like if it was a pay-per-view, we're kind of at the end of the era of pay-per-views. Now everything's just on a streaming platform, but. If this was on like Amazon Prime for a one-time purchase, how much would you pay to watch this?
I mean, a good amount. I think it'd be fun. I mean,
Me too.
They already did it yesterday, right?
I know.
Today,
That would have
the
been the more
results are
fun thing
coming
to
out.
watch.
Yeah, and we have no idea time on that. I would assume it happens in the morning, so hopefully this happens during our show. Tarik Skubal posted on his Instagram story as well, Framber Valdez, welcome to Detroit kind of thing, which I thought was hilarious. I've already seen the fan reaction of like, why aren't they just paying Skubal this money? Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
That's
Tarik
the number
Skubal,
one way of outing yourself that you don't really know what you're
I
talking
agree.
about.
Like, if they're going to pay, if you're going to pay anything, like, why not just fork over? This is a difference of $300 million we're talking here.
Yeah.
Between what total. Framber Valdez is on a short-termer deal. Obviously, Skubal's going to be a 10-year deal. So
that number's actually going to be so insane. When the notification comes through of whatever team extending him or him signing anywhere, the 10 years, $400 million, it's just going to be like, oh, my God, it's a different sport than what the Tigers are playing right now. But you do have to, like, the Tigers do deserve a little bit of credit for this. As much as I have a love-hate relationship with this team and this organization specifically, and as much as I like to, I don't enjoy it, but like, man, they piss me off more than the other three teams in Detroit. They really do. This is a good move. It's the only way to think about this. This can't be considered anything else. And even if they go on to trade Tarik Skubal, the succession plan is not terrible. It really isn't. You have Jackson Jobe, you have Troy Melton. I've always made the case you can just have all three. Now you having a guy like Framber Valdez, Okay, like the succession plan is there. Replacing him with another lefty who's at the top of the Major League Baseball in terms of who the best lefties available are, who the best lefties just in general are. So it's a good move for the Tigers. What does it actually mean, I think, is the bigger puzzle piece that we're trying to figure out. 989-837-6125. How do you view this? Win for the Tigers. They're going all in on Tarik Skubal's last season. Or is this simply softening the blow for them trading him? Are they now open to trading him before spring training starts here in a couple of weeks? 989-837, not even a couple of weeks. Pitchers and catchers report next week. You believe that? We're already here. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mitt, live on YouTube, live on Facebook. 11 o'clock hour is brought to you by Yater Insurance, but it's the 9 o'clock hour. I don't know why I said that. 9 o'clock hour, of course, brought to you by Iron Stack Technologies. Quick shout out to Iron Stack. You know, we talk about the game plan all the time on the show. What's the Tigers' game plan with Tarik Skubal? At Iron Stack, they have a game plan when it comes to your IT. They help businesses stay secure, stay efficient, and ready for what's next so you can focus on your mission instead of your technology. Iron Stack Technology, solution-driven, mission-focused. You can find them at ironstacktechnology.com. Tarik Skubal, arbitration was yesterday. We find out what his salary is going to be in 2026 later on today. We don't really have a time on that. What do you think the odds are now that Tarik Skubal is going to be playing in a different uniform come the end of March at the beginning of the Tigers' regular season? And before that, we have the World Baseball Classic. He'll be representing Team USA. What team is he actually going to be on? Because again, this is the first time I'm kind of open to the idea of trading for him or trading him away. I don't want to do it. Now that they have a lefty succession plan, you understand like the reasoning behind it. You're not as pissed off about it. And it's not like you're just like, okay, let's just bring in a ton of bats now. Like you still have a pretty damn good lineup, as much as I would hate to admit it. You still have a pretty damn good rotation if you were to trade Tarik Skubal right now. But as of right now, it's the best rotation in baseball, right? So I guess back to my original question, what are the odds he's on the Tigers come the end of March when baseball is underway?
To me, I think this is an even 50-50 right now.
Yeah.
It feels more likely today than it did yesterday, and that's not even
By
based on the arbitration stuff. I agree with both Chris and Esco in our YouTube chat saying, like, regardless of the result that happens today, it feels like the bridge is already burned based off of, A, just everything that's happened this offseason, and B, them signing Framber Valdez. Like you said, I don't view this move as much as I want to be like, man, the Tigers are going all in this year. What an elite pitching group. I don't view this as them doing that. I view this as this is their succession plan post Tarik Skubal. Like they're bringing him in to move off of Tarik Skubal finally. And as much as that sucks to say, it's a solid option. Like you'd rather just have the back-to-back Cy Young, obviously.
Right.
But yeah,
if you know you can't trade him or you can't extend him, then
of course. Now the thing is, like, I do.
Bad plan.
I see the standpoint of like, well, I don't think the Tigers might get the return that they initially once thought they'd get for Tarik Skubal.
Oh, you mean the same way they screwed up the Jack Flaherty trade value?
I think this is a little different, right? Jack Flaherty versus Tarik Skubal.
Sure, but like the fundamental standpoint of like you're going to ask for such a ridiculous
I think it's fair for Skubal. Like, I'm going to ask for a ridiculous return for him too. The issue is he's going to hit the open market with no matter any team he gets traded for. Like, if the Dodgers traded for him right now, I don't know if he would sign an extension.
Yeah,
like he's hitting the open market in December or whatever.
Well, unless a team's just willing to pay him what he wants, but that would require Tarik Skubal knowing that and being on the loop, which would basically require him asking for a trade. I don't think he's going to do that because if there's one thing we know about him is he's going to paint the picture that he loves Detroit, whether he actually does or doesn't. I feel like he does. I feel like he does like it here, and it's kind of genuine. But like the message is strategic.
Right, and then, like I see, like Esco says, why would he want to be on this team after all the lowball offers they've been giving him?
He likes the players.
I think he likes pitching for Detroit. He's been here his whole career. Like I think he likes being on the Tigers. It's just a clearly
this is a Scott Harris thing. It's a Chris Ilitch
and
thing.
a Scott Boras thing. Like I think Tarik Skubal's emotions are out of this. It's just. It's his agent, man. Like it's how he operates. He truly is.
Yeah,
like,
but if Skubal,
he's
like,
the evil of the MLB. It's that simple. Like,
sure, but if Skubal really, really wanted to be here, he could be here. You know what? I think the number one thing for Skubal is the money at this point. You know what he likes more than Detroit is the money.
And so does everyone, Ben. Like that's the thing. It's not.
I'm not blaming him.
Right,
I'm just putting it out there. Like he can do this whole I love Detroit. I don't think it's a bid. I think it's genuine, but it's like I said, it's strategic and. When he walks away for more money, we can't be shocked about it, even though he does like put on this persona that he's Detroit's guy and he's born like he's from here, he's embraced it. When he walks, we're not going to be surprised, right?
No,
or if he gets moved.
I mean, absolutely. Like, no matter what, whether or not he's gone in a month or he's gone in 8 months, like Skubal will not be on the team a year from right now.
Oh.
No. And
no
so
chance.
then it just becomes to your opinion on, like, what's the best way of operating about that. I think we just have to move out of the standpoint of the fans being mad about of course you can be mad about Tarik Skubal not getting paid by the Tigers. But at some point, if you're a fan of the team, you do have to start to move on of, like, okay, then how are they going to do this then? Because it's going to happen nonetheless, right? This is their way of doing it. They're they're signing Framber Valdez. You don't have to give up assets for him. They are paying out some money. Like, that's something we talk about all the time with the Tigers. They're not paying any money. They're not paying Tarik Skubal this and that, blah, blah, blah. This is a sign of at least some sort of aggressiveness from Detroit.
They're
right?
11th in spending right now. It's the highest they've been since Chris Ilitch's daddy was in charge, Mike.
And once again, like, I'm seeing more talking about, like, why didn't they just give Skubal a 4-year, this type of deal? Like, Tarik Skubal signing an 8 to 10-year contract. It's about the totality of money that clearly this ownership group doesn't want to give out. Now, you can disagree with that, and I probably do as well. It's Tarik Skubal. He's the back-to-back Cy Young. He grew up in your backyard. Like, you developed him. But it's something that they clearly don't want to do. So this is their pivot move, and it makes way more sense now to cash in on Tarik Skubal. You get the assets for him now, and all of a sudden, like, without Tarik Skubal, you start to feel pretty confident. Now, that number of, Tigers are a 500 team in the games he doesn't pitch, like, that doesn't make you feel great.
Well, but now you have a guy that can hopefully offset that a little bit in Valdez.
And maybe you could zoom this out even a little bit more. Like, maybe you just view this as a move of, okay, Jackson Job's for sure not coming back in 2026. Like, this allows them to
or Reese Olson's still hurt.
Right. Like, this allows them to really take it slow with both of those guys because as of right now, Ben, a guy who you and I love to be in this starting rotation, and Troy Melton is just not a starter. He's coming out of the pen to start the season.
The rotation's insane
it's
right
now.
It's
so deep. I mean,
it's insane, which makes me kind of think that Tarik Skubal's just not going to be around.
Yeah, I think that's safe to assume from everybody. So, yeah, I have always been in the camp of the Tigers should just go all in for 2026 for Skubal's last year, try to win a World Series. And the funny part is that's what they're doing right now, but my mindset has shifted. I am on the standpoint of trading him right now just makes the most sense.
It's the most it's ever made sense. But I also, I don't hate the idea of just being like,
Oh, I'm not going to be mad.
Beat us with this rotation. Because if you've got Skubal going game 1, Framber Valdez going game 2, by the way, last 3 years, 40 and 29. Pretty good. And then whoever's the hottest of Olsen, Mize, Flaherty, and I'm going to throw Melton in there too. Like, are we totally going to be shocked if he's just pitching well enough in spring training to where it's like he has to be in the rotation? I'm not. So, like, they have so many options for their starting pitchers that it's going to be a tough team to beat. Now, it also is very much dependent on, hey, does Colt Keith take a big step forward this offseason, or does Kevin McGonnell go hit the ground running? Like, those to me are the two biggest swing factors for this team this year because they have to be better offensively. Like, they just have to be. I think the simplest route for that is Colt Keith, takes that step forward as a guy who can hit 20-plus home runs this season. So, again, like, if they were to just keep this thing together and be all in last dance type of season for 2026, do I feel like they can win a World Series? Absolutely. Let's check the odds. What do we think their odds are in terms of the American League? Because, again, last year, like, going into this season, they were projected 83 wins.
Right.
It's not like they were some world-beating projection team. But now that
they were like 7th in the American League, I think, coming in, like, when I checked it a month or so ago, which is obviously a lot lower than maybe based off of last year you would have thought. Has it not moved?
They're New York's the favorite, Seattle second, Blue Jays plus 600 third,
Toronto's
Boston
third.
plus 700 fourth, Baltimore and the Tigers tied in that next spot at plus 950.
Okay, so they've gone up because I know they were for sure in the over plus 1,000.
Yeah, that's just the
I think
the
Kansas
American
City had
League.
better odds than them coming into the year. And, like, can I say something that maybe most Tigers fans are not going to agree with?
You can say whatever you want.
This
is an uncancelable
Look, man,
show.
I understand that Tarik Skubal's the back-to-back Cy Young winner. Can we not just assume that they clearly would have paid Tarik Skubal $40 million a year over like 4 years? Because that's basically what they just gave Framber Valdez. Like, they just didn't want to pay him till he's 40 years old. Is that not kind of fair? Is that not kind of fair? They clearly would have given this contract to Tarik Skubal. No doubt. They just gave it to Framber Valdez. They would have given it to the guy in their building. No doubt about it. They just don't want to give him the 8 to 10-year contract that he clearly is going to get from, 2 or 3 teams in all of baseball are going to be willing to give that out? I don't know. Like, I'm not saying it's setting them up for failure, but I kind of understand it.
I get not wanting to pay a guy when he's 40. But then again, there's been like a good amount of pitchers that have been able to pitch into their 40s right now.
Yeah, there has been. And I'm not saying that he can't do it, but it's just like I kind of understand. Like, if they would have done nothing to replace Tarik Skubal, if their replacement fix was like Jackson Jobe, he's the prospect.
Yeah, Troy Melton.
Like, these guys are going to replace Tarik Skubal, then of course I would have been like, bro, what are we doing? But a lot of people are viewing this as a disrespect to Tarik Skubal, like they're paying Framber Valdez, they're not paying Skubal. They obviously would have given Skubal this contract. I guarantee they've offered it to him, and he probably viewed it as a sign of disrespect, and Scott Boras did. Sure, that's fine. But I don't think it's that crazy to not want to pay a guy when he's 40 when you can just do this instead. I know that sounds terrible to say, but only the Dodgers and the Mets and the Yankees and maybe Toronto are willing to give out that 10-year, $400 million contract.
And of those teams, how many of them have the draft capital to trade for him right now?
Like the prospects.
Not the Mets. They already traded all their guys.
Right.
The Blue Jays don't have this elite farm system. Like maybe the Dodgers.
They're willing to trade us Yasavage, who was awesome in the World Series for them this year. The Dodgers have an elite farm system. So yeah, and I've also seen Skubal's trade value is low because the Tigers clearly aren't going to pay him, so they can just sign him in the offseason. I don't know. Are we acting like he's still not going to give you an awesome season this year? Like, you're getting an extra year of Tarik Skubal if you trade for him right now.
For less money than you'd probably own in the first place.
That's the part that I see that mindset of why would anyone trade for Tarik Skubal? He's the back-to-back Cy Young. You're going to get him for this season.
How would that work if Tarik Skubal were to get traded any time in the next week? Would he still be owed the $32 million, or would the arbitration restart because the team would be like, well, we would have offered more than $19 million?
That I don't know.
I have no idea how that would work.
I think the number that gets finalized today just is the number.
It's probably just
no
his
matter
salary.
what. Yeah, no matter what the team is.
This could be a reality TV show, man. There could be an entire documentary just on this offseason, no baseball involved, on the Tarik Skubal Tigers relationship. It's like What are the? It's the genre of TV during the day.
Yeah, the 3 p.m. Maury, Jerry Springer type shows.
No. The one that's like Stephen A. goes on. You know what I'm talking about?
Like
the
First Take?
No. Like the
General Hospital, like the soap opera shows.
Yeah, the soap operas. This really does feel like a soap opera between Tarik Skubal
like the
and
Young
the Tigers.
and the Restless. Oh man, when that show used to be on at my grandma's house, man, that was just the worst.
And then it like at the end of last night's episode, it was like, Framber Valdez is here.
Yeah.
It's like the new character.
It's the slow cut, and it's Scott Boras and Tarik Skubal standing in a room with Scott Harris, and all of a sudden, like they cut to the doorway, and it's just Framber Valdez walking in.
It's like, oh my God, I can't wait for tomorrow. 989-837-6125. Do you believe the Tigers are going all in on this season, or is this the prerequisite for Tarik Skubal getting traded now before the season starts? 989-837-6125. The Ben Bosscher Show, as always, is brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Protect your home with Bresky Siding and Building Repair, the experts who do the job right the first time. Whether you have a leaky roof or storm damage, maybe the siding on your home is looking a little tired, Bresky's got you covered. Locally owned and trusted, and dedicated to keeping Midland area homes safe and looking sharp. Quality materials, skilled craftsmanship, and service that puts your family first. Don't wait for the next storm. Call Bresky Siding and Building Repair today and keep your home strong for years to come. Welcome back into the Ben Bosscher Show here on 100.9 The Mid. We've got our new studio being built behind us. Second to last show that we'll do in here. I really wish we were doing the Tarik Skubal conversations in the studio behind us, but hey, that's for next week. Hopefully he's still a Tiger by then. Look, I guess here's where I'm at, and first, I guess I'll say this too. Hit that like and subscribe button. Feels like we got a good audience today in the YouTube, so go ahead and do that if you're new to the channel. Anyway, between Jackson Jobe, who maybe doesn't play at all this season. If he does, it's going to be in the second half. Troy Melton, Jack Flaherty, Reese Olson, Casey Mize, and now Framber Valdez and Tarik Skubal. Like, okay, let's take away Jackson Jobe. There's still 6 guys where it's like, who's the odd man out here? What's going on? Is it Troy Melton? Because didn't A.J. Hinch say last season, like, oh yeah, this is the only time he'll ever come out of the pen. We're not doing this again. That was what they did with Jobe 2 years ago, and then he was a full-time starter. And it's like, okay, but now they're in a weird situation with him where are they sending him to AAA? Are they going to use him out of the pen again? That's probably not how they want to use him. That's what they did last year. And then it just kind of leads you back to the original point of, like, there's too many guys in the rotation.
Yeah, is the odd man out Tarik Skubal?
Is the odd man out Tarik Skubal? This seems like a prerequisite trade. No. Look, if I'm making a prediction, I think I'm officially, like, for the first time, predicting that Tarik Skubal probably does get traded, and if it's going to happen, I bet it's before the season starts for a Dodgers package.
I hope so.
I still think I'm going to keep my boots where they are, though.
Yeah,
and say I don't want to move them, and let's just be all in and be like, beat this rotation. Beat us 4 times in a series because you're getting Skubal twice and you're getting Valdez once. Try to beat us.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to balance because this is their best chance to win the World Series. You asked me like a month ago what team has the best chance to win a title, and I said the Tigers. And that was obviously then I started to think I don't know. I don't know what I'd lean, and maybe we can do that tomorrow or something. But
well, if the Tigers stay with this rotation all year, it's probably the Tigers, right? It feels like such a knock on the Pistons for being the one seed.
Sure, it does. But I think that's more of like an OKC thing and just a Western Conference thing than anything.
Yeah,
less of the Pistons.
Can we stop doing but OKC?
You're right. It's
the West.
Denver's also really good, and if Minnesota gets Giannis, let's stop talking NBA right now. But yeah, it's a tough balance of like this is their best chance to win the World Series this specific season if they keep Tarik Skubal. Like this rotation rocks. You have the guys that you've talked about who you think are going to take big leaps, like Colt Keith, and just these other, like Riley Green's gotten better, Spencer Torkelson's gotten better. I think that Kevin McGonigal is going to make a much bigger impact than a lot of people think. And so, yeah, this team has a really good chance of being really good this season. And once again, a division that sucks. Like none of these teams are predicted to be good. Kansas City's probably going to be fine. The rest of the teams are going to blow. And so, yeah, this is your best chance to win the World Series, but also from an organizational setting yourself up post-Tarik Skubal, how do you get no assets in return for that guy? He's not going to be on the team a year from now. We're not even debating that anymore. So it's like, how do you not get anything for him? So I see both sides of it. As a fan, I'm like, let's win the World Series this year. But when they lose in the divisional series in Game 5 like they have the last 2 years,
it's the toughest pill to
swallow. I'm going to look back to this specific moment and think, how in the hell did you not trade Tarik Skubal? Now, when they win the World Series,
I don't think I'll ever think that. If they keep him, I'm never going to be mad at them for doing it and trying to be all in. What you can be upset about is them not addressing some of the offensive needs this team needed.
And you know what can help address those offensive needs?
Huh.
Trading Tarik Skubal. You're going to get a major league player. You're not only getting prospects. You're going to get a young guy that's already in the bigs.
What position can you really add on offense right now, though?
That's a great point.
Center field. That's kind of it. Unless you're willing to just part ways with Kerry Carpenter, but he's been so good in the postseason that I don't think you can do that.
And once again, like if we're being realistic, this organization loves to do the we don't want to block the young guys thing. Max Clark is the center fielder of the future of this team.
Screw Max Clark, man. They're trying to win a World Series right now. No, I'm serious.
Max Clark.
I'm serious. If that's the reason that they're not going to add another offensive player in the outfield, that's insane. I get it with McGonigal because he's probably going to be here day one. But come on, man. What are we doing?
I think you should bring in a center fielder for this specific year. Yeah, for like on a 1-year deal. Totally. But like I'm saying if you're trading for if Skubal, you're trading him and your big like MLB ready guy that you're getting in return as a center fielder, that's not something that the Tigers are going to be interested in.
No, and I like you kind of think the X factor is McGonigal. I think it's Colt Keith.
I think that's fine too. Yeah.
So the fact that like there's actually 2 options, I don't know. You feel okay about that. Maybe they do take a step forward offensively, but I don't think anyone thinks they're just going to be some like powerhouse offensive team. I mean, if they are, like, they shouldn't trade Tarik Skubal.
If this team is like a top 12 offense in Major League Baseball, they're going to be awesome.
They're going to be a really tough out.
Pitching is going to be crazy.
Yeah. This is somewhat like I called it an all-time rotation if they could keep, like if they decide to keep everyone.
Might be a stretch.
Is it?
It's not nearly as good as obviously the 2013 Tigers. I mean, that team was like 5 like elite pitchers. Now this one has the depth, I will say, because
it also has Tarik Skubal.
Right, but we also have not even mentioned like Kiter Montero's still on this team. That's a guy that a lot of the
not even worth the mention anymore.
A lot of the bad teams though in baseball would love to have him as their 3rd starter. Sawyer Gibson-Long is like, he would be the 5th starter on some teams in Major League Baseball. Like, he's just going to be a bullpen guy. Kiter Montero is going to be a long innings, like a doubleheader pitcher guy. Like, this team has crazy depth at starting pitching right now.
Casey Mize is furious with you for saying that right now, Kyle. All-star Casey Mize is the 3rd guy on this team. It's a deep rotation. It's okay, maybe all-time great is a stretch, but I don't really understand how they wouldn't be the best rotation in baseball if everyone stayed healthy.
Yeah,
like
they would
semi-healthy. I'm not even saying like no one gets hurt because obviously it's going to happen. But if
they would be the best rotation in the American League. I think the
without a doubt.
I mean, the Dodgers rotation is just It's ungodly. The Phillies probably still have the best duo. I don't know. Wheeler and Sanchez last year were the best duo in baseball. Now Framber and Skubal are like, I think
that's nasty.
I think it's hand in hand right there. And then the Mets obviously have a really good rotation this season as well.
But are we talking about a duo that's just never going to actually exist? Potentially.
I hate it, man.
I think your 50-50 estimate was pretty accurate.
It's cliche, but like
for us to say that we're leaning one way or the other right now, I think is almost crazy. Who knows what they're going to – no one, not a single – like, there's a ton of guys who are excellent on the Tigers beat, too. So maybe not a ton. I didn't read anything about Framber Valdez becoming a Tiger at any point this offseason, did you?
I saw a little this week, actually. Like earlier, I think it was like this weekend. There was a little bit of buzz on Twitter about it. It wasn't anything like written in stone. It wasn't any like confirmed sources. I'm just on Twitter more than anybody ever. So I saw a little bit of buzz about this, about like Framber Valdez picking up. He has interest from these teams, expect him to sign. One of those teams that was showing interest was the Tigers.
And it was almost like a laughable thing.
Right. It was just like the Tigers are showing interest in Framber Valdez along with X, and X. He probably will sign his deal soon.
Yeah, just like they showed interest in Bregman, just like they can show interest until they do it. You don't believe in them.
Yeah, I had interest in Livy Dunn until Paul Skeens scooped her up. So it's just like –
I have interest in winning the lottery this Friday.
And so, yeah, I saw a little bit of it, but like you said, it wasn't like Petzold was like, whoa, the Framber Valdez is about to sign with the Tigers. Because, want to know why? Everyone's locked in on what's going on with Tarik Skubal right now.
No, I don't think it's an overstatement to say this stunned everyone involved, whether it's media, whether it's fans, players on the Tigers. Like, this is a stunning move. And I do think it's almost a, hey, Skubal, hey, more so to Boris. Hey, Boris, screw yourself. Like, we can do this without you. Here's our succession plan. You can take your $32 million. You can go elsewhere. We've got our guy here now.
Saying screw yourself to the agent that represents the most people in Major League Baseball that you'll probably have to deal with probably isn't the best idea in the world.
That relationship is so burned right now anyway that it might not matter. Yeah. He really did do circles on the Tigers throughout this arbitration period. It like truly embarrassed the Tigers for the last couple of months.
He's so evil, man. He's an evil mastermind, that guy is.
He's the puppet master. 989-837-6125. Hey, we'll circle back to the Tarik Skubal situation. Tom Izzo and Jeremy Fears made headlines yesterday for the wrong reasons. Tell you what that's about when we come back. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Mitt. Okay, welcome back in. This is the Ben Bosscher Show. We will circle back to the Tarik Skubal conversation. You know what? When we come back to it, can we just live in a world for a second where Tarik Skubal and Framber Valdez are, in fact, a duo, and we don't have to, like, do the what if they –
Right.
Let's just live in a world where they are a duo, because if that is the world we're living in, the Tigers become a team that are pretty tough to beat in a 7-game series, considering the rotation that they have. And then if Colt Keith can – take that step forward. Or Riley Green doesn't strike out 100 or 202 times, 201 times this season. Yeah, maybe they are definitely a better offense. All right, when we come back to that, I'm excited for that. Yesterday, Michigan State, shockingly, loses to Minnesota and is on the wrong end of a storm court for the second time this season. Kyle, fundamental, just if you're on the wrong end of two different court storms throughout the regular season, I think I might just be done. Like, I can't take that team seriously anymore.
Really? You're just done? You're out on the team?
You let two different guys storm the court, two different teams storm the court when you were out there? I don't know, man. There's something about that that's just a little off-putting, The
Nebraska one, though, was just like – I mean, like that.
I get it.
The team was – it's not like there's some bad team.
I get it.
Minnesota's different. Minnesota, for sure, I agree. But, I mean, what are we? If Gonzaga loses one of their West Coast Conference games, they're going to be – you're out on them now, like after last night?
No, I think I'm just forever out on Gonzaga for what Michigan did to them.
That's fair.
In November. That's not really the story of last night, though. Right. The fact that they lost their third Big Ten game essentially means they probably have to win out in order to get a share of the Big Ten, I would imagine, just because there's so many teams here near the top. It feels like they're not going to win the Big Ten regular season title. That's over there. The bigger story from last night is Fears just continuing his antics. I defended Fears on the Monday after the Michigan State game. I said I didn't think anything was dirty. The windup on Yaxell in transition, it was a hard foul. It was a frustration foul. I didn't think it was necessarily dirty. Sorry, man. I not after last night. That was some of the stuff he was pulling last night. The donkey kick between the legs of one of the Minnesota guys. Some falling down, moving his leg up. It felt like on two different occasions he hit a guy in the balls. And then he got benched in the fourth quarter. He ended up coming back, but he did get benched. And then Tom Izzo said after the game, like, he might not start the next game. We got to go see what happened. But that was unacceptable. Yeah, it was. It felt like when Michigan State couldn't score, and it kind of felt like Minnesota was overwhelming them a little bit. Fears is supposed to be the guy to settle everybody down, and instead he took his frustration out on some pretty immature plays. And now we have to talk about him as a dirty player, and we've got to talk about whether or not Michigan State's going to put him on the bench to open up next game. I think that'd be a little bit crazy. I do think he goes out there and starts in their game against Illinois because you're going to need him to. It's just like hey, man, now you're like, this is 2 strikes. If this is once again going to happen, then not only do we have to put you on the bench, but like we got to have a whole new thought process about your role on this team if you're going to do this again. Because I know Tom Izzo doesn't put up with any of that stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy that Izzo has taken this perspective here because, I mean, obviously I'm the Michigan State super biased guy. And after the Michigan State game, I was the guy that was, Fears didn't do that many dirty moves. That wasn't dirty. That was just an accident against Yax. He didn't really,
I thought the most ridiculous thing in the Michigan State game was Will Cheddar jumping sideways for his jump shot to get to the foul line.
Yes, but also, like, now looking back at that game after what we saw last night against Minnesota, I think we can say what Fears did was probably intentional. Just truly, like, I think Izzo said it the best way. Fears needs to grow up, man. Like, you can't be doing that. As the leader of this team, as, like, the point guard, as one of the best point guards in the country, and also, like, their only true source of offense lately, Michigan State's on a comeback last night. Their offense is finally starting to spark. They cut it to 5 points, I think, with, like, 10 minutes left in the game. And then Fears picks up that technical foul, which is truly just what a terrible time to do some stupid stuff that obviously is going to warrant a technical. It was just like the play on Yax in the fast break against Michigan where it was just like, what are we doing? That's an obvious flagrant foul. You can't do that. And so
it's the windup.
Right. And the one against Minnesota last night was pretty bad. And it sparked Minnesota's it sparked a run for them, but it just cut any sort of chance for Michigan State to come back. It was over after that point. MSU hit a ton of threes. Actually, almost did come back at the end of the game, but
almost stole it.
Right, but I'm just happy that Izzo took this mindset because it was clearly that, and it's hard to defend Fears because he's an awesome player, man. And Minnesota's head coach had a lot of good words to say about him after the game. But, yeah, it's unacceptable. He cannot, as the point guard, as the leader of this team, and as one of the best players in the Big Ten, one of the best guards in the country, he cannot be turning himself into a Grayson Allen type of guy. I mean, that's just – it cannot be happening.
We've got some Grayson Allen comparisons in our YouTube as well.
Draymond Fears as well.
Draymond Fears is good.
Draymond wasn't like –
He wasn't like this in Michigan
He wasn't
State.
that dirty at MSU. Like, he was a physical player, but he definitely wasn't like how he is in the NBA at MSU.
No, there was no kicking anybody in the nuts.
Yeah, or just like elbowing guys in the face. Fears, though, I mean, it's just the little stuff that he tries to get away with, the little ticky-tacky, like, let me hide it type of stuff that now he's on. I mean, there was like 4 things in last night's game.
The donkey kick was come on, man. Like, that's not even discreet.
He had the one where he was lying on the floor and stuck up his leg. He had the one play where he put the elbow in the face of the Minnesota defender, like poked him in the eye. There was several things last night that I was like, man, I like Jeremy Fears more than anybody. I might be his biggest fan. And I can't defend him anymore after this. So I'm happy that Izzo took that standpoint because it's got to stop.
Is there a chance that Michigan got in this guy's head so bad and then they start losing a little bit more and suddenly it's like he's just spiraling out of control? Like, this has to be a come-to-Jesus moment for him in Michigan State. And it wouldn't be as big of a deal if Michigan State had some help on offense around him, but they don't. Like, he is their source of offense down the stretch of these games. So for him to be picking up these fouls and be the guy that everyone's looking up to and for him to do all this, like, extra antic stuff, it's going to result in some pretty poor results for Michigan State, including a pretty embarrassing loss to Minnesota. Like, I'm sorry, man, you're done. You're not going to win the conference after your third loss. One of them coming to Minnesota and the other 2 coming to the best Big Ten teams you've played this year in Michigan and Nebraska. And I wouldn't say they looked particularly good against either of those teams.
Well, then guess what? On Saturday, you got to go play probably, like, outside of Michigan, the best team in the conference, at least playing the best right now. Yeah. Illinois on your home floor. I agree that not just Fears, but I think this entire Michigan State team was pretty rattled by that Michigan game, including Tom Izzo. And you saw it with Cohen Carr last night. I mean, I think that guy, something was off with him last night.
He had a couple shots in the last 5 minutes, but he stunk it up. I mean, at the beginning.
He felt like he was sick or something. Like, it was clearly like this guy just isn't even like running up and down the floor.
Yeah, Michigan just said, like, go nuts, man. Like, they were not afraid of him.
Minnesota, like, oh, we'll beat Minnesota, whatever. And Minnesota runs a zone the entire game. Why would any team not do that? I mean, it makes the most sense. And now you got to go play Illinois, who just beat Northwestern by 40 last night. And they've gone on the road to Nebraska and to Purdue in the last 2 weeks and picked up wins. What, we think the Breslin Center, like, oh, it's the Breslin Center.
No, we can't say that anymore.
Michigan walked in there and won, and Illinois has gone into 2 crazy hostile environments in the last 2 weeks and won, and they have the best freshman maybe in the country, and maybe not in the country, definitely in the conference in Keaton Wagler.
I was about to say.
Right. I caught myself there. For sure in the Big Ten, and Keaton Wagler, who dropped 40-some a couple games ago.
On Purdue, nonetheless. Yeah, like, in their place.
Illinois is playing better than anybody right now. They're playing as good as Michigan right now. And so the fact that you have to play them back-to-back weeks, you can view it as an opportunity for MSU, right? Like, this is your chance to get back into yourself, established as we are one of the top teams in the Big Ten. We're not on that tier below. But based on the way that it went last night, you definitely do not feel confident in that.
I think Michigan basically saying, hey, Cohen, here's the car keys. Go nuts. Like, do whatever you got to do.
The car keys. Nice. With 2 R's, maybe.
That was. You know what that was? That was a Gus Johnson line right there. He can steal that if he wants. I think Michigan just letting him go nuts got in his head, and now he's in his own head pretty deep. He just didn't take the leap that they needed him to take this year, and that was pretty apparent last night. 989-837-6125. Start the 10 o'clock hour with the Detroit Pistons. We'll work back into some Michigan State stuff, and then here's the key. We will get back to the Detroit Tigers because the Tigers are the news of the day. They're the news of the weekend. There's like a football game being played or something on Sunday, I believe.
Pro Bowl?
Yeah, no, I think that already happened.
Oh.
No, jokes aside, though, the Tarik Skubal thing is about as big as we can possibly imagine for this time of year. Your pitchers and catchers report next week. Is Tarik Skubal going to be on the Tigers by the time March 26th, I believe, is opening day in San Diego? Is he going to be on the team by then? Who knows? 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 The Mid. So today is trade deadline day for the Detroit Pistons, and I want to make this very clear. We will get back to the Detroit Tigers. We'll spend all the 11 o'clock hour talking about the Tigers, and maybe even some of the 10 o'clock hour towards the end. But it is trade deadline day for the Detroit Pistons, and so far they've only made one move, and that was to trade away Jaden Ivey. And in return, they got Kevin Huerter, who's just, from a career standpoint, a better three-point shooter than Jaden Ivey was, more attempts, better percentage. He's been having a down year the last couple of seasons from a percentage standpoint. Look where he's been playing. Chicago and Sacramento. Basketball hell, those two places are. Two of the worst-run organizations in all of sports. I like the move. They got to move up in the draft in order to acquire a player like that, and you avoid the headache that was coming this offseason when you were going to negotiate with Jaden Ivey on a new contract. Otherwise, you would have had to let him walk. So I like the move. I know a lot of Pistons fans are upset about it. I don't really understand why. Jaden Ivey had become a non-factor. Whether or not he was playing or not had no impact on whether or not the Pistons were winning. He's less than 2 assists per game. He was less than 2 free throws a game. He got to the free throw line once every other game. Doesn't rebound, doesn't play defense. Kevin Huerter at least comes in and is like, okay, this is at one point in his career a lights-out, knockdown three-point shooter, high volume as well. I like the move. I just wish the Pistons were to have another move in store for them to make today. That feels extremely unlikely at this point because the guys I would have wanted, Ayo Dosunmu, he just got moved in the last 15 minutes to Minnesota. Really nice pickup. I would have liked to trade for Kobe White. He got moved to Charlotte last night. Good pickup for them as well. It feels like Malik Monk's really the only other guy that they could go get that would fit their need, which is someone who can space the floor and someone who can kind of initiate offense off of the wing when Cade Cunningham gets double-teamed, just a guy to throw the ball to so they can kind of create something for themselves and for those around them. They don't really have another player on the team that can do that. They've got guys who can shoot, Duncan Robinson. They've got guys who can get into the paint, Asar Thompson. They don't really have they still don't have their co-star next to Aiden Hutchinson. I'm so used to saying stars next to Aiden Hutchinson. People always get so mad about that. They don't have their guy next to Cade Cunningham. And I don't think Malik Monk necessarily fits that need. Michael Porter Jr. would, but it doesn't really feel like he's going to get traded. So I kind of feel like the Pistons are done. I would have liked for them to make one more move. If this is the only move they make at the deadline, I'd give it like a B-. I like the move itself, but it still feels like they're one more nice pickup away, and maybe they can get someone who ends up getting bought out. But I don't know, man. It still feels like they're missing one more thing to try to get through 3 playoff rounds.
That's what I was going to say. I think that their biggest move is probably going to be a buyout because with this CBA stuff, like if they are going to buy anybody out, because they still need to convert Danis Jenkins to a real contract, so the roster spot would have to be there. So I guess maybe not. But with the new CBA, like not a lot of teams can actually do these buyouts anymore. Just because if you're over that apron at all, you're not allowed to sign any of these guys on buyouts that are on bigger deals. So
I think it'd be Bobby Klintman. He would just be gone, right?
Yeah, he would probably. I mean, they're going to waive Saric and then convert Danis to a real contract, and then they would have to make a move outside of that. So, yeah, it would probably just be Bobby. Is Wendell Moore on a 2-way deal, or is he on a real deal? No, he's on a 2-way. So, yeah, it would have to be Bobby Klintman. But, anyways, yeah, what are the Pistons' moves to make? Like, who is there to go get? Michael Porter Jr. is the guy. It doesn't seem like he's going to be traded. Trey Murphy III would be the most ideal guy out of all of them. He's probably not going to be traded. So, it just feels like, yeah, I think the LeVert deal still being there, because once again, I'm operating under the stance that they're not trading Tobias Harris, but the LeVert deal is still there to move with Saric. So, like, you have the money there to go acquire a guy that's making a little bit over $20 million. But who are you getting? You know, I just don't think there's many guys left. This has been such a weird trade deadline in the NBA because this day is one of my favorite days of the year. I love the NBA trade deadline day. It's truly one of my favorite days. But all the trades are happening before deadline day. Like, we went from getting no moves in the NBA. This was like a weird, like, there hasn't been any moves all season long to, now just like a week before the trade deadline, we're getting all of them. The day before, 2 days before, all this and that. So I'm not going to be upset about it if there's no other moves that are made, because what moves is there to make?
Is there a world where Chris Middleton gets bought out?
That's the guy I was thinking about.
He just got dealt to Dallas. Right?
Yes. Yeah, that was the number one guy I was thinking of when we were talking about buyouts. That was the first guy I thought about because he's on an expiring deal and he's making over, because if any player is making over the mid-level and that gets bought out, any team that is over any sort of apron cannot sign him. The Pistons are not. So they would benefit from that.
That's going to be a lot of teams too. And look, I'd be lying to you if I told you I was watching a ton of Wizards games this year. So, like, Chris
he
Middleton
still good? I don't know.
I can pull up the box score and tell you how many points he's averaging and what his 3-point percentage is. I'd be completely, like, just speaking out of my butt talking about whether or not he's washed or not, because when you go to Washington, just have the ball all the time, who knows if he's still a contributor. But, man, I think back to even just a couple years ago, those Bucks teams, I mean, he had 50 points in a finals game, didn't he? Or 40?
Yeah.
I think it was 40 points in a finals game. He was incredible, and he kind of does fit exactly what the Pistons would need. Just a guy to throw the ball to on the wing, can knock down the open three, and just get into the paint and initiate for everybody else a little bit. I think it'd be a pretty nice addition, a guy to just come off the bench, and a guy
you just like LeVert, though, you know?
Oh, he's got to be better than LeVert, though, because LeVert in my eyes, like
LeVert's like a 0 now to me. Like I'm just kind of out on LeVert at all.
He also dribbles the ball just a lot. And I think Middleton is a lot less wasted dribbles. Like, he's a veteran. He's won a championship before. He understands, like, okay, this is how to engage defense and get other guys open. I don't really think that's ever been LeVert's strong suit. He's kind of got the biggest, like, tunnel vision you can imagine in the NBA of just like, okay, I'm playing one-on-one and everyone else is watching, which was my concern when they signed Karis LeVert, and he was pretty good for a couple months. And the last month or so, it's been a lot of the, well, everybody watch me dribble, and I'm going to take some shots, which is why it's just been the most obvious, let's move off of this guy person possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, because other than Monk, I don't really know who else is available. all the guys that we had on our lists, in Ayo Dosunmu, Kobe White, I guess Klay Thompson's
Clay's
still available
there,
too.
But like they traded for Herter. Like they're just going to go get another guy that only shoots threes. I think they kind of have
doesn't
already
play defense.
established that. Yeah. So
Yeah, at least Middleton, like, he shoots threes, but also does some other stuff too off the dribble. I
Right,
think that might
exactly.
be the new, like, okay, if they can go get Chris Middleton, that's an enormous win for the deadline in general, even though it wasn't a trade.
and they would not be able to trade for him because he's making too much money. It would have to be on the buyout. He's like $30+ million still, so it would have to be on the buyout. But I will say I do want to talk about Ivy because I didn't really get to talk about that yesterday. But first, what team? Like we're talking about the Pistons, they need to make moves. I see people saying if they don't make any other moves, they're going to be disappointed. What other teams in the East have made moves to be like, oh no, now I'm scared of? Are we scared of James Harden on the Cavs? Are we scared of Nikola Vucevic, the guy who Jalen Duren busts his ass every time they play on the Celtics?
Oh, come on. He puts up big points against the Pistons every time. But
4 years ago. This is the
he's
big 2-6,
destroyed the Pistons.
bro.
Even
Vucevic isn't even the best center on the Celtics right now.
I'm just saying we really struggle against the centers who come and trail
Sure,
and hit threes.
we did. I think that was when Duren wasn't any good defender. You know, like to me, I just think that like the moves that have been made, even though there's been a lot of them in the Eastern Conference, none of the other teams that are competing with the Pistons to win the East have made moves where I'm like, oh, the Pistons got to respond to this now.
Well,
they have to make a move to match this because now I'm scared of that team. The Knicks have done nothing.
Well, the Knicks can't do anything. That's what I was just about to say.
They traded what? They traded Yabusele for somebody on the Bulls this morning. I saw it for Dalen Terry.
But when they traded for Mikal Bridges and Cat, those were like their moves. They set their team in stone where they can't really make adjustments anymore. So like the Pistons are yet to make a move like that, I guess is what I'm trying to say, to establish their true core. They're still young enough to where they don't have to make a move like that.
They're the 1 seed right now, you know? Like, so they already are the best team in the Eastern Conference, and the moves that have been made around the edges by these other teams have not been enough for me to be like, man, I'm scared of that team. I'm scared of Atlanta with Jonathan Kuminga.
No,
I'm not. I'm not scared of the Cavs with James Harden. I'm not scared of Boston with Vucevic.
Yeah, but it's not. Boston's the one where it's not the trades that you're worried about. It's Tatum coming back.
Of course. And if that happens, then that happens. But I just think that the urgency to match what everyone else is doing is not there for Detroit. So that's why I'm not going to be upset if they don't do anything.
Can I push back? I don't think there's an urgency to get a deal done. I think they're in the 1 seed right now for a reason. They're playing the best, but I don't know if you and I have talked about this. In my eyes, the Pistons are somewhat of a solvable team come a playoff series where you're playing the same roster personnel over and over and over again. You double team the hell out of Cade, take him out of it, make sure he can't get assists and you know, just throw a ton of length at him. They're not that hard to solve in my eyes. Defensively, it's just going to be tough to score on them no matter what. But it's not that hard to figure out how to stop their offense if you have the personnel to do it. And in a playoff series, it becomes a lot easier. I still think they should be the favorites to win the East. The fact that the Cavs passed them in odds blows my mind.
Really? They did? I did not know that.
Crazy. I do think the James Harden thing totally helps the Cavs in the regular season.
For sure. They're going to be back. I mean, they'll be a top 4 seed in the East. No doubt.
I hope they're not the 4th
Harden's
seed.
having a great year. Like, he's having a much better year than Darius Garland was.
But once the playoffs roll around, come on. I can't wait to watch.
James Harden, man.
And it's the same problem the Cavs had. It's two guards that don't do anything when they don't have the ball, and they're going to watch each other and fight over the ball come a playoff series. Can't wait to be – like, I'd love to play the Cavs. But as for – a team like the Pistons, it feels like if they were to go all in and make a Michael Porter Jr. trade, it's like, oh, man, now we're talking about it as the Pistons versus the field rather than just the Pistons versus the Knicks versus Celtics. Like, they could go put themselves over the top in a way where it's like, yeah, no one is touching them.
I don't know if
this
they can,
season.
though.
And I don't think they put themselves in a position to do that. I also just, like, is Michael Porter Jr. going to get traded?
That's what I'm saying.
It seems like the answer is no.
Like you said, they have the chance to put themselves in that spot. I don't think they have that chance. I don't think there's a guy they can acquire right now that is like, boom, the Pistons are absolutely the favorite. It's going to be another
even
small
like a Kobe White or Ayo Dosunmu, I think would have been pretty close to that.
Sure, but they
lack another ball handler.
That's what I was going to say. If they're going to make a move, it's not even like, yeah, they got their shooter and Herter. They need another creator so bad, and that's why Schroeder was so good for them when they traded for him a year ago because, like you said,
savvy.
In a playoff series, man, it's just as simple as we are letting anybody outside of Cade create offense for this team.
Yeah, Duncan's
it's
not really
quite simple.
Yeah, Duncan's not initiating. Asar can, but like.
Not to the point that you trust from like a real guard in the NBA. Like, yeah, it's exactly. And like Asar, we've seen it. We saw it in the playoffs last year against the Knicks. Like, Asar is awesome on defense, and he's a great matchup for Brunson. But in a series, man, it's so easy for a team to just be like, we don't even care about Asar Thompson on offense. Yeah, like we don't even care about him.
And he still find ways to impact the game.
Yeah,
like when he gets
absolutely.
downhill, he's awesome.
He's got his pull-up, like, mid-range shot has been pretty solid this season.
Yes.
Like,
and he has the little high-low stuff with Duran.
Yeah.
Like, he can
they've
still
done
affect
creative
the
things
game.
with him, for sure. But it's not like I'm trusting him as the number 2 creator. We're zooming out from one playoff series now. This is for a playoff run. Like, so that's the part that I'm – yes, if you're going to make a trade today, it's going to be for some sort of guard. And that's why Monk is the guy, because he brings shooting and creation.
I would really like to get either of the Bulls guys, but they both got moved.
And the White would have been great for a fit for us. DeSumo fits Minnesota, definitely a lot better than White would have. But, yeah, I think Monk is probably still the guy. Sacramento's done nothing still. That's the most important part. Like, a team that we thought was going to make a ton of moves in Sacramento has done nothing.
And anytime you trade with the Kings –
you win the trade.
You win the trade.
Yes, you absolutely win the trade right away.
I do think Middleton would be a nice alternative option, though.
Yeah, would have to get waived still first. And, hey, he started his career, man. Started his career in Detroit.
That's right. I always forget about that. He never suited up for the Pistons, though, did he?
No, he did.
He did.
Did he? No, we're talking about Chris Middleton. Yeah, he rookie year, rookie season. Chris Middleton, second-round pick.
I forget about that.
Was a part of the Brandon Jennings trade,
That's
I
what I
believe?
was just thinking. I think it is part of the Brandon Jennings trade. And
I got to find this
Middleton
out now.
turned into quite the guy. I mean, there was even a case like for a second there was like, should he win Finals MVP? And then Giannis had his incredible Game 6 to close out that series against the Suns, 50-piece. But yeah, I'm very intrigued to see if the Pistons make another move. I really hope there is something there, whether it's a buyout guy or another ball handler. But they need it. In a big-time way.
Brandon Knight, yeah, it was him and Brandon Knight for Brandon Jennings. Brandon's trade, and then just Middleton tossed into it, multiple-time All-Star. In the middle.
989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, as always, brought to you by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. More on Jeremy Fears when we come back. Hey, you know what? Actually, screw it. Screw Jeremy Fears. More on the Detroit Tigers and Tarik Skubal when we come back.
Jeremy Fears.
let's just, for the sake of it, live in a world where the Tigers say, you know what, we're all in on this season. We want to keep Tarik Skubal and Framber Valdez, and then we also have Casey Mize, Jack Flaherty, Troy Melton, and Reese Olson if he's healthy as well. Like, Kyle, that is a seriously dangerous rotation that I think other teams, like, even if the Tigers' offense gets just a little bit better and is a top 12 offense and they can score 3 runs a game, like, that to me is a very dangerous team. It's just a matter of, like, is that reality, or is it just in our heads what we want the Tigers to do, keep everyone and have a last dance type of season? I'm not necessarily convinced that that's what's going to happen. It seems more like a succession plan, but for the sake of it, let's say this is an all-in season from the Tigers and they're keeping Skubal around to pair him up with Framber Valdez.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to operate in that world because
it's a fun world to live in.
And as of right now, it's the world that we are living in. Like, Skubal's on the Tigers, Framber Valdez is on the Tigers. And once again, we still haven't found out the information on this ARB hearing, which I don't think it's going to change anything. Like, I feel like the Tigers know if they're going to try and trade Tarik Skubal or not at this point. But like you said, operate in the world that they – because Ken Rosenthal also, like, this is worth noting, reported this morning that the Tigers – plan to, like, keep Framber and Skubal together. They aren't planning on trading Tarik Skubal.
Yeah, I saw that report.
I trust Rosenthal.
I do too.
But also, like, I think this kind of needs to play out a little bit. Like, that signing happened last night, and Skubal's ARB hearing hasn't happened. And what if Scott Boras sees this and is just like, screw this, we want out now, you know? So
yeah, it's not that I think he's doing a bad job reporting. Ken Rosenthal always does a good job. But, like, there was also reports in the last 24 hours that, like, well, whether or not they spend or whether or not they win the arbitration will affect if they spend on another starter. Like, okay.
Sure, but, like,
I think with Skubal, you might have to take things with a grain of salt, with the exception of Evan Petzold.
We can, like, do the whole, this is a disrespectful sign to Skubal because we think we can do it without you and this is the successor to him afterwards. But the Tigers don't have to frame it that way, even if they actually believe it. They can easily just frame this as, look at what we got you, Tarik Skubal. Last year, we had no idea who the hell the number 2 starter was. We were changing it every week. Is it Casey Mize? Is it Flaherty? Is it Reese Olson? Hell, it might be Troy Melton might be the second-best pitcher on this team.
Yeah, but what's the point of making Tarik Skubal happy? Like, where does that get you? What does that do for you?
I just think it shows him that you're trying to win this year. Like, I think that, I think that's what you're doing. Like, hey, you guys are the best pitching duo in baseball. No one is touching you guys in the first 2 games of the playoff series. We get there, we feel good about it. Like, that's how they can frame it to Skubal. So
yeah, but what does that gain you though? What leverage does that gain you if you know you're not going to pay him?
He's on your baseball team and you're trying to win. Like,
I understand that, but like, what would be the point of doing of trying to appease to Tarik Skubal and make him happy if you're going to let him walk a year from now anyway? Like, that's I don't get it.
Because he's on your team. Like, he still is playing for your team for a whole entire season. You're trying to win with him. And you also are dealing with an evil agent that he represents him.
You really are out on Boras.
I mean, he's like the evil scum of the Major League Baseball. Like, he truly is. He like is a supervillain. I think most people kind of believe that. So, I mean, Chris Ilitch is also a supervillain too. Like, it's they kind of go hand in hand. But I just think that, like, if we're taking that standpoint of they're not going to move Skubal, which that's the world we're living in right now. It's kind of cool. Like, this pitching duo rocks. Their rotation is awesome. I think that Kevin McGonigal is going to be awesome. You think that Colt Keith is going to be awesome. What if they both are? Like, all of a sudden, this team looks great in an American League that, yes, I do think right now is kind of just Toronto's for the taking. I know that the Yankees and Seattle all of a sudden are, like, viewed to be super high good teams again.
Well, the Yankees getting Cole back makes a difference.
Sure. Toronto went to the World Series last year, took the Dodgers to 7, and then added, like, 3 awesome players.
Yeah.
So their team is the best team in the American League for sure. That's going to be a tough team to beat. But I think the Tigers are just, no doubt about it, the best team in the Central right now. And that's not saying a lot, but it gets you into the playoffs. And if you get into the playoffs, you have Tarik Skubal and Framber Valdez pitching in the first 2 games. That sounds pretty good to me.
Can the Bats put up 3 runs per game? That's all we really need this season.
If this is going to be the duo. It's what we needed last year, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, I like living in the world where that's our duo, and we basically just have to live with they're going to let Tarik Skubal walk for nothing and get a draft pick in return, one of these competitive balance picks, the same pack in which they got McGonigal in. So I would like that to happen. I understand that how smart it is to just move off of him, but
right. But
we'll see what happens.
If he is going to be on this team, and that's what's going to happen, this is the last year of Tarik Skubal. Like, I don't want to just always be thinking about, oh, he's going to be gone. It's got to be like an appreciation thing of Tarik Skubal. Like, I will go to a lot of Skubal games this year if that's the case, you know? If for sure at the start of this, it also puts a lot of pressure on the Tigers to be good too. Like, because then if they're like middling around a 500 team, then you're going to have the conversation of like, well, yeah. But then you're going to have the conversation of like, should we trade him at the deadline? You know, if we're not even going to be a playoff team. And I don't want to have to do that. So it puts pressure on them to be good, which I think they will be because they just brought in Framber Valdez.
99-837-6125. We'll take a trip around the league when we come back, presented by Air Insurance Group. Then we'll continue on with the Tarik Skubal conversations. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Mitt. All right, welcome back in. It's time to take a trip around the league, presented by Air Insurance. All right, Kyle. We're taking a trip around the league. Let's do one more fun thing before we do any major Super Bowl predictions. Tomorrow will be a Super Bowl-centered show, and then I guess depending on what happens with the Tarik Skubal situation, we'll continue to talk about that as well. But let's just do, you're at a party, okay? You're at a Super Bowl party. All your homies are there, and there's a ton of food. Whole squad, and there's a ton of food. What is the number one thing that has to be at a Super Bowl party in terms of food. You and I are going to go back and forth. Let's each draft 4 things. So 8 total. But once one thing gets drafted, you can't add it to your plate. You've got to spread 4 things. You need a main dish. You need some sides, maybe some snacks, candy, whatever. You get the first pick. Go ahead.
Wow, I get the first pick. Okay, I'm going to keep track of these too so we can ask the people, maybe like on social media, who they think is better. So, look, to me, I think that Super Bowl, you can do it however you want. I don't think there's a specific way that you have to do Super Bowl food. You can do pizza. You can do this. You can do whatever you want. But I do think one specific thing's got to be at every Super Bowl party. It has to be an option. Because I think it's best to have options at a Super Bowl party. Like, a lot.
Yeah.
You got to have chicken wings at a Super Bowl party. It's a must. There needs to be wings of some sort at a party. Different sauces, boneless, bone-in, whatever you want to do, there has to be wings. So I'm going to take chicken wings.
Chicken wings is a good answer. It becomes a little like, I don't know, I can't do the bone-in wings during the game. It becomes like I'm more fixated on the wing and getting all the meat off of the wing than I am watching the actual game. I don't want to think
you can't
about
focus on eating a chicken wing and watching football at the same time.
I have to think a little bit more about the bone-in wing than I do the boneless wing in terms of eating it. So I am only boneless person.
That
during
seems
the
like
game.
a you problem.
It is for sure. As my main dish, simplistic but effective, I will take pizza. Very easy. You know, it can sit there all night. You want it to be eaten by everybody. You can get different types. There's nothing better than when whoever's hosting comes down and you get to the basement or wherever you're watching the game, and there's just like 5 enormous pizzas ready to be consumed. Because that's something that I'll treat like a snack, and I'll just have a slice, you know, like twice a quarter. I'll just get up and get a new
just
slice.
Just go one at a time. Yeah, you're not eating twice at a time. You're just getting one at a time for a while. Like
the wings, like you got to go get like it's
like
rude.
3 or 4 of them. You know.
Yeah, but like you obviously want more than 3 to 4 wings, but it's rude if you just like stack up 10 right away. But then you're like going back and forth and back and forth.
Why can't you snack on wings like you can on pizza?
Wings, you also like need a fork and a plate. Pizza, you could just.
You're right. No, that's a good point. And pizza, like to your point, I respect it. It's easy. Like it's an easy like. A lot of these dishes you have to make unless you're just like going and copping wings from someplace. But like
wings, it's like unless you live by a wing stop or some other place. Like what are we doing? Are we doing the B-Dubs wings? What's the move?
I'm just go to the store, cop the frozen bag of wings.
Oh, see,
I like to. But it's more effort. It's more effort than just picking up Zop.
It
is. So. No, I respect the pizza pick. I think both of these have to be at every Super Bowl party. Like if you're having a Super Bowl party that has more than 8 people at it, wings and pizza have to be at both. So they're respectable first 2 picks. Here's one thing though that I think no matter what, it's just there. Like even if because some people do like a snack based only. Like there isn't a lot of entrees at a Super Bowl party. It's mainly just like little snacks and appetizers.
Is this your next pick?
This is my next pick. Sliders. You got to have sliders at a Super Bowl. Whether it's like the ham and cheese, turkey slider. Some people will get creative and do like a hamburger slider or even like a chicken base, like a chicken parm slider. You can do it however you want. But the simple like sliders, man, they're so easy. The Hawaiian rolls, you throw some cheese and a meat on those. Man, those are so good. I'm going with sliders.
That feels very broad. Can you specify?
What do you mean? You're taking a different type of slider?
I won't take sliders, but like there's a huge difference for me between like a ham and cheese slider. I probably won't touch those at a Super Bowl party versus like a Parmesan chicken one.
See, I disagree because there's a major difference between a meat lover's pizza and a Hawaiian pizza. And you just get all of pizza?
Okay, so you're assuming. Okay, so you're just taking like the entire loaf of the 12 Hawaiian rolls, opening up half of that,
and putting whatever you want in it.
Okay,
that's what you get. Sliders.
Sure. Yeah. No. I'm with you. It's a fine pick.
Really, you're out on the sliders?
I'm not out on the sliders, but like, I think there's better side options. The problem with a slider is it's like a hybrid. It's not really a snack, and it's not really your main dish.
Right. I think that's what kind of makes it elite, though, because like
I think they just get caught in the middle where it's like, oh, I'm having pizza for my dish, and now I'm still a little hungry. Do I really want a slider, or am I going to go with my next pick, chips and dip? It's just so
Okay,
classic.
so what type of like? I'm not saying you have to specifically pick it, but like for you, like
under these circumstances, I don't have to pick anything.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying like what's your dip you like? Are you a queso dip, a salsa dip, a buffalo? Are we giving you buffalo chicken dip with this too?
So my two choices for dip would be buffalo chicken dip with some tortilla chips, or just your classic potato chip and what's it just like chip dip.
Like a French onion dip?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're getting all of that.
I'm getting it, yeah.
You're getting queso, I would assume, too, right? I mean, that's a dip, chips and queso, because that's what I would immediately take.
Yeah, I like chips and queso at a Super Bowl party. I think there's just better. Like, I'd rather do the two other ones.
I guess I'll give you all dip since I took all sliders. We're kind of the rules here are being bended, and it feels like this is what kind of always happens when we do stuff like this.
There are no rules.
We
make
rules.
the rules.
Yes. Okay. So chips and dip, man. That's a broad. Getting buffalo chicken dip in that feels illegal because it's such an elite. Like it's kind of on its own tier of dip.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a premium dip.
It is, and it's also at every party ever. I mean, not just a Super Bowl party. It is at every party you've ever been to. There's buffalo chicken dip at.
And a good buffalo chicken dip, really hard to match that.
I agree. Okay, that's really tough, man, because now I was going to take buffalo chicken dip, and I didn't really think that was going to be your thing. Oh, okay.
We both have two more picks. I think both of us need like another snack or like a dessert.
I was going to go dessert, but like who be eating dessert at a I don't know, like is someone eating cookies?
Yeah.
I guess cookies could be a thing. Okay. I do have one. This is a good one. I'm doing a little bit of surfing just to see if there's anything I'm forgetting about, and this did kind of help. I'm going to go with like a nice little small crock pot dish of meatballs.
See, I think I've won.
You don't like meatballs?
No, you've taken three, you don't have any snacks.
What do you mean? Do I not? I still have another pick.
Keep making your case for meatballs. I want to hear this.
You don't like meatballs.
Is it just the meatballs? Is there bread? Now you have two things
Bread?
that are like sandwiches?
I got to have bread with meatballs? No, dude, I'm talking you get a little nice pot of Swedish meatballs. I throw 3 of them on my plate with my chicken wings. All of a sudden, this is a great Super Bowl plate.
No, I'm out on the meatballs.
Okay.
I don't dislike the meatballs, but if I've got chicken wings or pizza available, I'm not touching the meatballs. Or sliders, for that matter. I'd rather just have 6 sliders and a couple meatballs.
Yeah, I'd rather just have pizza and chips and queso, just cheese galore, right? You know?
It sounds like you're picking my dish right now.
I was making a joke because your dish is cheese loaded.
No, so I didn't bring up queso at all. You were the only one to bring up queso.
When I think chips and dip, I think chips and queso.
Well, I'm telling you, mine is potato chips and French onion dip and tortilla chips and.
So I'm allowed to take chips and queso, then you're saying?
If you want to take chips and queso, yeah, you can take chips and queso. But you just took your meatballs.
I know I did. Yes.
I feel like there's got to be some like football themed.
I was thinking about that,
food.
but what is it? Like the pigs in a blanket is kind of like a football thing, but I don't know. Those are like whatever.
You know what? I think I'm just going to take cookies. I'm going to take cookies here. And then for my 4th pick, I'm about to steal something that it's going to blow your mind.
Cookies.
So I'll take cookies. So I've got pizza, cookies, and chips and dip.
Okay, so I was thinking, do you get like the spinach artichoke dip too? You probably do. That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good dip. Okay, so there's a couple things you could go with here. I'm not gonna pick this, but have you ever had those? I don't actually know what they're called, but it's those peppers that you fill with cream cheese and like a little. There's like some sort of meat that's in them too. Jalapeno poppers, basically, is what they are. Those are so good, man. I really enjoy those, but I won't be taking it. A veggie tray, Gary says in the YouTube chat.
It's not
Come on,
bad.
man. It's the Super Bowl.
No,
bruh.
but like if that's just like you put it out, you know it's not going to be completely eaten, but like I'll snack on that for a little bit, like just to make me not feel like a total POS.
No, you're right. That's actually a good point. I think I'm going to go really basic here because you are right. I do need some sort of just like snack thing that I can throw on my dish. I'm just going to put Doritos on my plate. That's going to be my last pick. I just think that like it's everyone, like any flavor Doritos, anybody's just going to toss some of those on there. So, and it seems like the go-to party chip outside of tortilla chips, of course. So I'll rock with just Doritos as my last pick. Yeah, just a mess of a plate I got going on here.
See, I need something small. Just something that you can, like... I'm going to take Chex Mix. Chex Mix is my last pick.
At the Super Bowl. Chex Mix at the Super Bowl. I love Chex Mix.
It's delicious. So I got pizza, dips, chips and dip, Chex Mix, kind of double up on the carbs there, and then the dip.
Cookies.
Cookies. Yeah. Cookies.
Yeah. So pizza, chips and dip, cookies, Chex Mix.
See, now I'm a little jealous of you having like the two different like
you only have
meals.
one. You only have one entree.
Yeah.
You got 3 snacks and an entree.
Yeah.
But I do like.
I like your slider pick. Now I slept on the slider.
The meatballs pick is for sure the worst. Like it definitely is the worst.
I don't know. What you were thinking
a couple
there.
meatballs, I think it's just like it's perfect at a party. I got chicken wings, sliders, meatballs, and Doritos because sliders is like a morph of snack and entree.
So
I think that's my favorite part.
I'm with you. I think that I didn't credit the sliders pick enough. So if we were gonna morph our parties,
like a top 4.
I think pizza, wings, and sliders all make it.
Pizza, wings, and sliders all make it, and then it's probably just like chips and dip. Yeah, no, for sure. That is so. It's just our first 4 picks. Yeah, which makes a lot of sense. And you know what's the best part about my pick too? By the way, with your sliders, you take some Doritos and sneak them into the sliders. God. Little crunch factor.
Settle down. Settle down. Jeez.
Turning everyone on over here.
Last year, John brought us cannolis. They were delicious.
Man, everyone in the YouTube chat, Gary and LeDuc, they're getting hungry from us talking about
I'm
this.
getting hungry
Man,
too. We might have to go get some of this
right now.
Some of this food for Sunday and start packing up.
For real.
All right, 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on the Minute. Still got another hour to get to. Stay tuned. Live on YouTube. Welcome back in, Ben Bosscher Show. If you are new to our YouTube, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. We appreciate you. This is not what our normal setup looks like. We are in a suite next to our studio right now because it's being totally renovated. And when we're talking about the result of the Super Bowl on Monday, guess what? We're going to be in there, and it's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. So like and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay. Kyle, about a half hour ago, you said, well, I wanted to say something about Jaden Ivey, and then you never said anything about Jaden Ivey. I'm totally content with him being gone. I'm honestly a little happy he's gone. He didn't fit with the team. It was going to be a headache this offseason. He wasn't really giving the Pistons anything that they needed, and whether or not he was playing well had no impact on whether or not the Pistons were winning. So I think it was just time to move off. They shifted their identity from, hey, Cade and Ivey are this backcourt duo, like they're going to score a ton of points, to a very defensive-minded identity, and I think because of that, Duren, Asar, and Holland all just kind of surpassed him, and Stu, in terms of the value to this franchise. They viewed his value as one thing. He viewed his value as another. Those two things were very far apart, so to avoid a contract headache this offseason, goodbye.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about Ivey because I didn't get a chance to yesterday when he got traded. And so I agree with you in the perspective of, like, I just think everyone is so off with their reaction to, like, the value of Jaden Ivey, what he was traded for.
It's a fifth pick.
They should have got way more for him. Like, you just have to actually realize the context of what's going on. Jaden Ivey doesn't play a role on the best team in the East. Like, truly doesn't really make an impact on this team. I view Ivey's minutes as like the here damn minutes. Like, damn, fine, here's 15 minutes, Ivey. Damn. Like,
get off our bag. Their
like,
agents won't.
They're like forced to play him almost. It truly feels that way. Now, I think he was fine in his minutes this year, but like, Jaden Ivey's not a 15 minutes a game guy. Like, he's not. He needs to be more involved in the offense. And
I can't wait for him to get more minutes in Chicago or elsewhere, and everyone's going to freak out. Oh, why'd they trade him away? Look what he's averaging now. He never would have done that in Detroit.
Ivey also, the big part was that he's going to be a restricted free agent this offseason, and probably would have turned to an unrestricted free agent because there's no way in hell the Pistons were going to give Ivey the qualifying offer. They made it out like the Pistons made it more obvious than anyone. That's the part to me that I do not agree with the reaction of, like, why would they sell him while his value is low? The Pistons made his value low.
They also bought a player whose value was low.
Right. Like, of course, when Ivey was really good, like, pre-injury, like, it was like, man, Ivey's really working into himself. He was 40% from three, 17 a game before that injury against Sacramento. And Cole Anthony, sorry. If that injury was what ruined his career, then of course with the Pistons, then that's super unfortunate. And we all had high hopes for Jaden Ivey. But it's not a shock, and we cannot ignore that the Pistons became really good post Jaden Ivey, and he wasn't a part of that playoff run. And he wasn't a part of the first 2 weeks of the season this year as well when they got off to a good start. Trying to morph him back into a huge role on this team when the Pistons have just been way better when he hasn't played, that the Pistons were the ones that lowered his value. It's not like they were the ones that did it. They didn't play him. They chose not to play him a lot because it's hard to incorporate a guy that plays the way that he does into a team that's been really good.
And you already have a Karis LeVert doing that.
Exactly. Like, it's not like Jaden Ivey is bad and like, oh, that's why the Pistons didn't play him because he stinks. No, he just didn't have a role. He was an outsider on this team. Like, you've talked about how the Pistons have outgrown Tobias Harris and that's why they should move off him. They sure as hell outgrew Jaden Ivey.
They didn't even necessarily outgrow him. They just went in a different direction that didn't fit his skill set by any means. Like, they wanted to be defense. They wanted to be Cade Cunningham is like, not only they gave him the car keys, they gave him the house in the pool out back and everything else. So it's like, okay, if Ivey's not really the guy you want next to Cade in the backcourt, then you want a lights-out shooter. And it's so easy to say, well, he's shooting 37% this year from outside. He's making 1 3 a game.
Yeah, it's low volume. And, like, once again, the Pistons chose to play Danis Jenkins, a two-way player, more than Jaden Ivey this year.
That I almost didn't understand.
That's the Pistons' decision. But it's easier for him. I think his role makes more sense than Jaden Ivey's does.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's a better creator than Jaden Ivey is. So, like, it just – I don't understand why everyone is so upset because it was Detroit that lowered his value. Dude. I understand, yeah, man. Like, we all had these dreams about Jaden Ivey. Why are we sad about Jaden Ivey getting traded? The Pistons are good. They're a really good team. and they need shooting. And Kevin Huerter shoots the basketball. Like, this should be, I'm not saying this is a home run trade, but the fact that there's the reaction of like, oh my God, Jaden Ivey, he was going to be a superstar. He was going to lead the Pistons to championships. What are we talking about, man? Is this do we know the same Jaden Ivey? Because
Are we watching the same basketball?
I certainly don't know that version.
Yeah, I'll take this version of the Pistons where they're winning without Jaden Ivey more than I'll take the old version where, yeah, it was Caden Ivey, but they couldn't win a single game.
When Ivey was playing a lot and was playing good, the Pistons weren't good. So why are we sad about it? They're a good team now. Like, I just don't get why there's this. You're sad about the what if, what could have been, and sure, that's fine. But also there's a first-place team basketball team right in front of your eyes. So I don't know why the sadness is being brought up.
And they got to move up in the draft to do it. And they made a trade with the Bulls, the dumbest team in the NBA.
Who now have 18,000 guards. Like, we're talking about Ivey's going to be playing good for the Bulls. He's got 8 other guards to compete with.
He's the biggest guy on their team.
Yeah.
And the other team in that deal, the other team in that deal was desperate to shed cap to try to get Giannis. Like, literally, they just were in it to shed cap, shed salary. You were in the third team in that deal. Sounds like you won it. Like, you don't even have to see how else this plays out. You probably win the deal. Now, if there's a world where Ivey, like, oh, look at that, Ivey's back to averaging 17, 18 points per game. Yeah, that's going to be fine. Guess what? He might be on a bad team.
And they also weren't going to re-sign him this offseason. Like, he just would have walked, and he would have signed with some other team in the offseason. They were not going to give him the qualifying. So, like, that's just the part of, then you might as well trade him to get somebody that can maybe help your team this year. Hopefully Kevin Huerter can shoot the ball better, because I agree he's not having, like, this great year from deep, but he's in a better situation now.
He was in hell.
And at least he has a superpower. Like, he has one thing that he does. He's a shooter. He does that. What did Ivey do? What was his one thing? When a guy's a role player, he should have one thing that he is bringing to the table at a high level. Huerter has shown he can do that.
Yeah.
I don't know what Ivey's was. You know, it felt forced. Every time he was out there, it felt forced. Like they had to be playing him and they didn't want to. Now they don't have to do that.
Yeah. For the people that like got irrationally upset with this trade, I think it's just it kind of exposed the people. Like, it was a smart basketball trade. If you were irrationally upset about it, I don't know what to tell you. If you listen to this segment and still are irrationally upset about it, that's the best I can do to try to calm you down. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live here on 100.9 in the Mid. 11 o'clock hour on the way. Shout out to everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook right now. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. We'll be in the new studio come next week. Super excited about that. So if you hit that subscribe button, you'll get notified when we go live tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And then, of course, when we go live at 9 a.m. on Monday as well, you can get a sneak peek of what it looks like in there. We were in there earlier today. Looks really awesome. Really excited about it. So we'll be there on Monday. All right, this is the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mid, 11 o'clock hour on the way. Welcome back in. 11 o'clock hour, as always, brought to you by our friends over at Yiter Insurance. After talking about it for 2 hours, I think this is where I stand. I maybe have a level of optimism that's a little premature, a little bit out of the ordinary when I have with what I normally have with this Tigers team. I feel semi-optimistic that they're going to run this thing and do a last dance season and try to win the World Series this year with Valdez and Skubal as a 1-2 duo, because that is potentially the best duo in the American League. It probably is. You're really just banking on one more guy to start contributing on offense. You need somebody else, and you need Riley Green to not strike out over 200 times. Those are the two things that you desperately need to happen. This rotation's nasty, though. I'm okay with letting Skubal walk next offseason if it means that you can go on another run this year. The unfortunate part about it is it now puts you in a position to where if you do want to move off of Tarik Skubal, it's about as good of a succession plan as you can possibly have. Because you have Valdez now in the building, another lefty that's just one of the best in all of baseball. You have that guy in the building. You also have Troy Mellon and Job, who could potentially be big-time players in Major League Baseball at some point in their careers. You have a strong supporting cast around them, at least for this year, in Casey Mize and Reese Olson, Casey Mize in the last year of arbitration, and Jack Flaherty, for that matter. So the succession plan is there if they choose to do that. And if they're going to do that, I'd want them to do it during spring training or before spring training rather than in the middle of the year. Because if Tarik Skubal walks out there on the mound during this season in a Tigers uniform and then ends up getting traded in the middle of the season, that is how you burn your bridge with your fans and never, ever get it back. You can save face a little bit. If you're going to trade Tarik Skubal and you know you're going to, do it before the season because you can save face because you can say, look, we just gave you 3-year deal with Framber Valdez, who's just a lights-out guy. We have a strong rotation surrounding him. We are confident that Riley Green's going to continue to get better and won't strike out as much. We know what we have in Torque and Kerry Carpenter. We really think Colt Keith's going to take this big step forward, and we've got the most exciting young prospect in baseball in Kevin McGonigal. It can still be a good season. The issue becomes if they end up letting him play and then moving him at the deadline. That's how you basically piss off everyone and get to a point of no return. I'd say it's 50-50 whether or not Skubal gets traded. Ken Rosenthal put out a piece that the Tigers have interest in going all in. I just think the timing of it is suspicious with Tarik Skubal's hearing yesterday with his arbitration numbers and now the announcement today. You really had to wait until you had all off season. You could have done it tomorrow. You could have done it yesterday. You could have done it at any point. And you decide to wait to do it for the 24 hours between when we find out about Skubal's arbitration and when his hearing was. That, to me, is what doesn't really add up, and it almost feels like hey, Scott Boras, get ready to not, I don't know, get ready. We found our guy. We don't need you. That's what the cryptic messaging says in my eyes. But I have an optimism that that's not what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't think that the Tigers out of nowhere yesterday were like, whoa, we got to go sign Framber Valdez. This had to have been something that they had been working on for some time. And whether or not, you believe that it has something to do with the arbitration, it is their plan post-Tarik Skubal, though. Nonetheless, this is their post-Skubal plan. It's just, does that post-Skubal plan involve
overlap?
Yeah, does it involve 1 year where they're together? That's the big question right now. And so I've made the stance that, look, I truly, if Tarik Skubal gets traded, I am going to be inside as a fan sad that Tarik Skubal is gone off the team. I don't think I'm going to be mad if they trade him. I think I've come to that standpoint. Not like I'm saying I'm out on Tarik Skubal and I'm this and that. It just makes way more sense. It makes the most sense right now to do it. And I'm not going to sit here and act like it's that crazy for the Tigers not being willing to pay him when he's 40 years old, paying $40 million a year. They obviously would have given him this same deal. And so, to me, I just think that as a fan, I'm going to be sad, but I'm not going to be mad. If there's an overlap season where they're together, then cool. I'm excited for it because, man, this American League is theirs. They have an opportunity to go. This pitching rotation is so awesome. And so if you get the development from some of those hitters, I saw some people in our YouTube chat asking about, what's the ideal left side of the infield looking like. You and I have both talked about those two guys who we think are going to be great this year, McGonigal and Colt Keith. Like, that right there, at least by the middle point of the season, you expect that to be a full-bore go, playing shortstop and third base between those guys. So if they do this go-all-in season, that's what we asked for, right? Isn't that what we asked for a few months ago? Like, As of right now, it seems like that's what they're doing, and yet I've almost pivoted to I think they probably should trade Tarik Skubal.
Yeah, it at least makes you, like, to your point, you're not as pissed off about it now because you actually put together a pretty good succession plan. I still think I'd rather just let him walk than trade him, though.
And I don't know what his value is right now, too. Like, that is the weird part about
pretty
Skubal.
High.
Like, I mean, of course it's still pretty high, but, like, you do know that there's not going to be that many teams that are willing to give him this godly contract that he's going to ask for. And so it's like,
unless you have the wink that he's going to sign an extension,
right?
Which he could at any point.
That's the thing, though. So it's like the teams that would be trading for him, it's like 3 or 4 teams because you have to be willing to pay him if you're trading for him. And so the risk is he's probably for sure hitting the open market. Like you said, you would have to know that you feel confident that you can extend him, that you're willing to give him the money that he's going to get from any other team. But yeah, and you also get a year of Tarik Skubal. That's the big part. It's not like, oh, we'll just wait till free agency. Well, that means you don't get him for this entire season. Imagine if you had him for this full season. He's pretty good, So, like,
he's also in his prime.
Yeah, he's coming off a back-to-back Cy Youngs. Like, wouldn't it be cool to have that guy for an extra year and then sign him to whatever extension you want? So, I still think there obviously is reason to trade for him for these other teams and not wait until the offseason. But it just depends on what the Tigers can get. If it's still going to be this big haul that we can sit here and propose and mock up, then we'll see. But I think that it's definitely something that I'm not going to be feeling the same way I was prior to them signing Framber Valdez.
Valdez, super durable, has only hit IR twice in IL. Only hit IL twice in 8-year career, 192 innings, each of 3 of the past 4 seasons. 5th most innings pitched since 2020. Consistency, he's finished in the top 10 for Cy Young voting 4 of the 6 years he's been a starter in the league. Doesn't give up home runs either.
Yeah,
like Skubal's prone to give up the home run sometimes because he throws such a hard ball.
He's a power pitcher. Framber is very similar to like a Mize in the way that he's a sinker ball pitcher. Like he is a ground ball guy. He's going to force a ton of ground balls. He's going to get a lot of double plays.
Highest ground ball rate in baseball.
Yeah, he has a great sinker. It's one of the best pitches from a lefty in baseball. So that's it's kind of a good combination with him and Skubal back and forth there.
It surprised me a little bit that he got the highest AAV in the history of baseball for left-handed pitchers. I was a little surprised by that at the 32
right?
million.
32, yeah.
Yeah. Little shocking there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just obviously, like a lot of these contracts in any sport you see now are the highest blank ever because, I mean, there's been so many great lefties in baseball history. But even like Garrett Crochet, well, that's the thing, too. A lot of these contracts are just long-term. Like Crochet's deal that he got from Boston was this humongous long-term deal. And so Framber's going to pivot on this. He's going to take a 3-year contract. Why not? I can get paid the most money in a short amount of time. It seems like a good play.
With an opt-out after 2 years, basically betting on his numbers will be good in Comerica Park.
Which they probably will be, yeah.
Yeah. He's just got to hope the infield is ready to go for him, whether that's Javi, McGonigal, Colt Keith, like...
That's kind of the sketchy part, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think the Tigers like.
There's a question mark for how good defensively that infield's going to be.
Yeah, it's a. Look, I'm not going to bash him, but it's not like this elite infield.
It's
by
certainly
any
one
means.
of their worst groups,
Yeah, especially if we don't know what McGonigal's going to be like at shortstop. We know Glaber's a good second baseman. I think Skubal's good at first base.
Torkelson, yep.
Yeah, Torkelson. Colt Keith, he's okay at third.
Yeah, didn't see it a ton, and I think this year we're probably going to see it a lot more.
He should be the everyday third baseman. Zach McKinstry should never start at third base unless Colt Keith is hurt.
Or just
or at
get
second.
subbed out. Yeah, like McKinstry will still play. Yeah, exactly. But
Colt Keith should be there every day in my eyes. 989-837-6125. This is the Ben Bosscher Show live on 100.9 The Mitt. Yiter Insurance always presents our 11 o'clock hour. Life happens fast. And at Yiter Insurance, they know how to make sure you're covered every step of the way. Locally owned and trusted in Midland for decades, they treat you like family, not just another policy number. From home and auto to business and life insurance, Yiter has the right coverage for every stage of life. Their team makes insurance simple with expert advice and real people that you can actually talk to. That is Yiter Insurance Group. We'll be there when you need us since 1940. All right, welcome back into the Ben Bosscher Show. It is Tarik Skubal Arbitration Day. We find out what he's actually going to be making in 2026. Let's put the Framber Valdez thing over here for a second. Do we think Tarik Skubal is going to win his arbitration case? I think the answer is unequivocally yes. He asked for $1 million more than what Juan Soto got a couple of years ago. $32 million would be the highest arbitration number of all time. I don't think it's that crazy of an ask, considering he has 2 Cy Youngs to his name. And here's the cherry on top. Here's the icing as to why I think he's actually going to win. Because he has 3 years of service time, he's allowed to compare himself to any pitcher in baseball, which includes Max Scherzer, who's making over $40 million, Zach Wheeler, same thing. And he can just say, well, I'm better than those guys, and those guys are making $40 million. Why would I not make $32 million? I think it's like out of the realm of possibility. Skubal's got to be like minus 600 today to win his arbitration case against the Tigers. Would you take plus 600 for the Tigers?
I don't know, dude. I have a feeling that it might not go that way. I think that there's a world that maybe this deal coming through had something to work with the fact that they might have won this.
But the $114 million? Like, why would that have anything to do with the $13 million difference? It's not like, oh, we saved $13 million for this year, let's hand out a 3-year deal. Like, I don't know. Those two things don't correlate in my mind, even though, like, you would think that they're more likely to spend some more money if they were to win the case.
Right.
But it's just too much money for it to correlate in my eyes.
How do we not know yet, man? I'm just, like, scrolling Twitter just endlessly waiting for something to happen and just seeing some fun Tigers fan just saying stuff about Tarik Skubal. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a weird situation because there's a world where the signing of Valdez, I know you said you want to put it to the side, but obviously it plays into this arbitration stuff.
That's fine.
Like, there's a world where it just didn't matter at all. Like, what happens with the arb result, this was just they were going to make this move to be Tarik Skubal's replacement no matter what, whether or not he's making $13 million more or not. But I just think that we know how Chris Ilitch operates. $13 million difference, like, I think that plays a lot. That's almost Alex Cobb's salary last year. So yeah, I mean, I don't know.
The Alex Cobb contract.
I just want to find out, and I don't know I don't know if it's gonna change anything. Like, what are the implications whether or not the Tigers win or lose this? Like, if Skubal does get paid that amount of money, like,
I think they're done spending regardless.
It shows
right?
how stupid the Tigers are. Like, that's truly, I think, the main my takeaway. If Skubal does truly win this, it's like they really thought they could get away with offering him $19 million. Like, that's what I would think.
You morons. If you would have just made it 25, you probably would have won.
Like, how dumb, And so that's probably the main thing that I would think. But if the Tigers win this, then obviously, like, do we owe Scott Harris and them an apology?
Yeah, probably.
Not really, though, right? Like, I guess we do, but it's also just like, guys, it's Tarik Skubal. Like, I get it. Yeah, like, sure. Why not just offer him 23? And this is way different,
Can I tell you something? I hope they lose. I hope Tarik Skubal gets all the money he's earned, he deserves. This is kind of an anti-organization take. But there hasn't been a lot of reasons that the organization has been like, hey, be with us instead of Tarik Skubal. Like, be loyal to us. And obviously it's team above the player. It's the organization above the player in most circumstances. But this ownership group has done nothing but piss Tigers fans off up until yesterday night when they brought in Framber Valdez, which I think your point's the best of whether or not you think Tarik Skubal is getting traded or they're just letting him walk. This is the succession plan to him. This is the reality. They brought him in so that whether that's a month from now or a year from now, when he's gone, they still have a lights-out lefty to be in their rotation. That's a borderline Cy Young candidate. That to me was a reason. Trust is not the right word, but they deserve credit for it, right? They deserve credit for bringing in Valdez because that was out of nowhere. It caught a ton of Tigers fans off guard, out of left field, to use the baseball analogy.
It got us excited, right? I mean, and then immediately
a really nice move.
Yeah, and then immediately pivoted to like, oh God, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But nonetheless, it got all Tigers fans excited. I still am excited.
Yeah, it's a fascinating back and forth that I'm wrestling in my brain. I don't really think the Skubal number, whether it's 19 or 32, has anything to do with, like, if he wins or loses, I don't think it affects the season anymore. I think they have their decisions, they have their plan. They'll either be giving him 19 or 32 million, and that's kind of just the bottom line of it.
Right. Pizza Man in the YouTube chat asked a pretty good question. why do you care so much?
Oh, I didn't think about that. I don't know, man. That's probably why. I guess I don't really have an answer to that. I care about these things more than most.
Stop caring about all that stuff, man.
We wouldn't have a show if we didn't care. Let's check the MIT messages. I've been throwing out the line. I haven't checked in a while. This one's from Matt, who is texting in from Baltimore, but from St. Clair's Shores, Michigan.
Matt?
Says, Ben, what's the next move for the Tigers? Is it another year of merry-go-round at third base and shortstop? Do they call up Kevin McGonigal and lock him in? Or is there a realistic possibility that we trade assets for another bat? Great show. Keep it up. Thank you, Matt, for texting in. I think if it was me as AJ Hinch, I'm keeping McGonigal on, like, unless he just shows up to spring training and it's just a disaster. I'm just having him start the season with the Detroit Tigers and probably opening him up as the opening day shortstop. And I'd honestly have Javi Baez out in center field. Sorry, Parker Meadows. Unless the arguments have Parker out there in center and, like, Javi's just ready to come in. But I don't know, man. Like, I think Parker Meadows will get another opportunity at some point. I'm not really down to just, like, throw him out there opening day. That'd be a little disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's tough with McGonigal, like, as far as – because then Javi Baez is still going to have a role on this team. Like, no doubt about it.
Yeah, he should be the starting center fielder. And then Colt Keith's everyday third baseman.
Sure. But also, like, McGonigal didn't play AAA ball. That's just the one thing that, I could see them having him play, like, a month in Toledo. You know, like, there's a world, and then he's – but like you said, I mean, if he's anything average or plus – in spring training, like, he'll be on the Tigers. And
I think he'd have to stink it up in Lakeland and not make the team.
But it's not like a situation of, like, McGonigal's the best hitting prospect they've had since Torkelson, since Riley Green. Like, he's going to play every day. He's going to be a lineup lock. McGonigal will be. As much as they love to have the splits, lefties versus righties, unless he's terrible against lefties.
But he's never going to improve unless they play him.
Right, exactly.
Every day.
So he's going to be an everyday guy, and that means Javi Baez, like you said, I would like them to play more in center field. You know, I would really like that.
Got another texture from unnamed. I think Scott Boras is the main problem with the Skubal situation. This goes all the way back to Mike Ilitch and those bad contracts. This is just what Boras does, though. Like, we can't blame Boras. We know this is exactly what he's going to do. It's just don't be mad at Boras for running circles around the Detroit Tigers. Be mad at the Tigers for not being smart enough to counter and like, even have a chance to win arbitration. Because I still really feel like it's like minus 500, minus 600 that the Tigers, or that Tarik Skubal wins this thing. Like, would you take that? If I gave you 5-1 odds, would you take the Tigers money line?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah, I would. I think the Tigers have a chance to win this. Yeah, I do.
I still will, like, stand in my boots that I would pay a ridiculous amount of money to watch this play out live. Mostly yesterday.
Would you pay $400 million?
No, I wouldn't pay $400 million over 10 years.
No.
This would be an incredible TV show. Just a reality show, documentary cruise, just following
it's
around.
Like Judge Judy, just
yes.
Court case. Yeah,
yes.
It'd be so sick.
One of those perfect court cases where it's like, all right, Skubal, Boras, you're up. Tigers, we want to hear from you. And then the decision comes today at some point. 989-837-6125. We'll hit the news when we come back. We'll do our two traditions to close out every show. This is the Ben Bosscher Show, live here on 100.9 The Mid. Of course, the 11 o'clock hour is brought to you by Yetter Insurance, but I want to take a moment and tell you about the Midland Area Community Foundation. They're dedicated to strengthening our community through generosity and connection, supporting local nonprofits, scholarships, and projects that make Midland a better place to live, work, and play. Your donations help fund vital programs in education, health, the arts, and more right here at home. Partner with the foundation to leave a lasting legacy to create positive change for generations to come. Get involved, give back, or learn more at midlandareacf.org. Together we build a stronger Midland, one gift, one idea, and one heart at a time. All right, welcome back in. We have not hit the news yet, so Kyle, fill us in on all the things happening in the world of sports. Take it away.
Yep, let's do it. I did see, though, someone's asking us where the birds went. That's the breaking news.
We
birds are
by
gone.
request of everyone, got rid of the birds.
Yeah, man.
We listen.
I don't think people are rocking with the birds, so that's okay. We'll be back in the studio. That's the new updated news. We'll be back next week. Tomorrow's the last day we're here in this suite. Okay, let's hop into the news. First off, last night we already touched on it a little bit, but Michigan State loses back-to-back games. At Minnesota, they lost, and then they got to take on Illinois Saturday at home in the Breslin. Illinois has been red hot. It's another top-5 team that Michigan State's going to have to play. And then on the flip side, Michigan. They're back in action tonight. They take on Penn State at 6:30.
And they're favored by, guess how many?
Yeah, like 25 points.
24.5.
Yeah, just right back to it, man. Had a couple games where it was inside a single-digit points, and that's just been it's been kicked out now. So
again, I said this earlier, but if you're on the wrong side of a court storm twice in the same season, I might just I think I have to stop taking you seriously, and that's where Michigan State is at right now. Got court rushed again last night against Minnesota. It's just a bad loss, man. It's just a bad loss.
Of course, it's a bad loss. You know, so was Wisconsin when Michigan beat them.
What do we think about the floor though in Minnesota, the elevated floor?
I've always kind of been out on those arenas that have them like that. But
I kind of like it.
At the barn, yeah. It's a kind of it's a cooler venue. It's kind of a more notable one in Minnesota. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really love it. We've been talking Tigers pitching all day, and we do have to talk about some sad Tigers pitching news that happened yesterday, right after the show. Tigers legend, 1968 World Series hero Mickey Lolich dies at 85 yesterday. I've already seen some people talking about him in the YouTube chat today. But, I mean, obviously, you and I, we didn't watch Mickey Lolich. I've heard a lot of really great stories about him, and it's a time that Tigers fans reminisce because it was when they won a World Series.
Yeah, in between the first and second period of the Wings game last night, they did a nice little package on his career and FanDuel Sports Network. So that was cool to see. Obviously, didn't see it like you said, but yeah, a legend in Detroit, RIP.
Yeah. Okay, college football news. We've been waiting on this. We're talking about hearing court case hearings results. We got that with Tarik Skubal. Well, we got the results on Trinidad Chambliss. The NCAA officially denies Chambliss his appeal for eligibility to return next season for Ole Miss. So Trinidad's done, man. He's done. It's tough.
I'm proud of the NCAA on this one. Usually it's not much I'm in favor of them and side with them, but I'm glad they didn't just give Trinidad another year, a sixth year, for no reason, because there was no, he just wanted 6 years. Like, oh, I got my tonsils out when I was a freshman, and that's why I didn't play. No, that's not why. You're just inking for a 6 year just because. I think it would have been fun to have him back at Ole Miss. He would have been the most notable quarterback coming back. But now, we're not just giving out free years to anybody who asks. So that's a good sign.
Is, though, so
yeah, I mean, that's completely
right,
different.
Of course, like Victor Oladipo, he could go play for Indiana tomorrow if he wants to.
LeBron could go play for Ohio State if he wanted to.
Correct.
I don't really see what's stopping him.
We'll continue to update you on the Amari Bailey situation too, because that's going to be a fun one to monitor. But yeah, like you said, I mean, it's a bummer just because we are like Trinidad fans.
Yeah.
But we have to remove ourselves from that and look at it from a grand scheme. Like, there's no reason why he should get an extra year of eligibility. So. Yeah, I'm with you there. Okay, we had a bunch of trades go down in the NBA yesterday. Let's talk about a couple of the big notable ones. First off, out of nowhere, the Wizards trade for Anthony Davis from the Dallas Mavericks. This was a shock to me, Ben.
This is going to be such a great 2K team. You get Trae Young and Anthony Davis.
AD, yeah.
What could you turn injuries off? What could possibly go wrong?
You got to turn injuries off, yes.
Yeah, I mean, this is like you got to compare everything on a standard that's a little bit different for the Washington Wizards. Like, if they make the playoffs as a 7 seed, isn't that like are we like debating hanging a banner? Like, let's throw a parade. They made the playoffs, won a singular playoff game. If that's their goal, then I think they probably are going to achieve it in this Eastern Conference next season. But it's not. It's two guys who aren't really viewed as alphas. They put two betas together and think it's going to work. It's not. It's not getting them through any playoff series. So. We'll see what happens. Their best chance to break out of that is to land one of the top 3 picks in this year's draft.
That's what I mean. I understand kind of gearing up for next season. It makes a little bit more sense just to hey, if we're gonna add one of these top 3 guys, because Trae Young and AD they'll probably play a combined 10 games the rest of the season for Washington. That's the cap, and so they're still gonna be one of the worst teams in the league by the end of the year. If they can add AJ DiBonsa to this core, then all of a sudden it's this is a fun team next year. but they're not winning anything. I don't know. I just think it's kind of weird. Similar to what Utah did too. It's just like,
that's
hey,
even weirder.
No other good teams can trade for these crazy contracts. Why don't we just do it? So it's just both of these situations are just kind of weird. So we'll see. There was a couple other trades last night. Jonathan Kuminga gets traded to the Hawks. Kristaps Porzingis ends up back in Golden State. Chris Paul's with the Raptors, and he's probably going to get waived. He won't play for Toronto, so maybe he'll play for some other team. But
Pistons maybe.
Hey, I never thought about that. No.
It's not the worst. It's really not the worst idea.
Chris Paul wants to play, though. I think that's his thing. Like, he'll probably just retire if he's – and I don't think he would play it. Like, they would probably just still want to play Danis Jenkins over him, right? So
I don't know, man.
3
Chris Paul, at
p.m.
least he knows not turning the ball over, can slow some stuff down when Cade's not. Like, I think he'd be an okay person to play when Cade's not in.
Sure. I don't know. I just think that they would rather have Danis play, though. And you're not playing those two guys together.
I'm kind of getting sick of Danis.
Why?
Plays a little recklessly.
He's a two-way player turned into a 20 minutes plus per game guy. So
I just don't trust it in the playoffs.
I agree with that. I think Danis has been everything and more for what he should have ever been. But he also should not be asked to be the secondary creator of the first-place team in the Eastern Conference. So, yeah, I think that's fair. 3 p.m. today, though, is the trade deadline.
It was 5.
No, it's 3.
Oh.
It's the actual deadline for when trades can be done, even though we'll see some be done like minutes after because they just get reported late or whatever. What do you think the odds are Pistons make another move? If you had to put odds on it.
5-1.
Really? It's that bad?
4-1.
I mean, we haven't seen any trade. We've seen, like, Luke Kennard get traded today. There has not been a lot of trades.
Ayo Dosunmu, too.
Dosunmu got traded. So we'll see a couple other ones go down, but I don't think we're going to see mainly any headliners.
It's Giannis. That's it. And I think
he's not getting traded.
Yeah, I think with the Timberwolves trading for Ayo, right?
Yeah.
I think they kind of just were like, okay, this is our move. We're done.
I mean, they don't even have, like, Rob Dillingham, who was their young guy who they could send back to another team. They traded him for a role player. So, yeah, we'll see that. Okay, a little bit of Super Bowl news. We did say the Wings last night played the Mammoth. They lost 4-1. What'd you say?
I said didn't go well.
Yeah, it did not go well at all. Mammoth, though, I still love it, man. I still love the Mammoth logo and their whole color scheme and everything. I'm a big fan of it. Anyways, Super Bowl news. Both quarterbacks are feeling good ahead of the Super Bowl. That's good to know. Sam Darnold says his oblique feels good, which that makes me think maybe the oblique is actually feeling bad because it was an opposite report of what we got in the playoffs before that. And then Drake May has been dealing with a shoulder injury. He says he feels great. So both these guys are going to be good to go.
Perfect. Want everyone as healthy as possible for a game.
Have you been feeling any type of way about changing your Super Bowl opinion?
I'm gonna save it for tomorrow.
Okay.
Super Bowl show tomorrow.
We slightly touched on this earlier. This will be the second to last thing in the news. Gonzaga loses to Portland last night. It was their first loss since all the way back against Michigan. It's, of course, their first loss in the West Coast Conference. And Portland, of all teams, who's like, this is one of the best years of the West Coast Conference. They're going to have 3 tournament teams. They might even sneak in a 4th. Yet Portland, who's at the bottom of this conference, beats Gonzaga last night. Crazy game.
I think it was the biggest upset in that conference's history. So, yeah, it's March. It's almost March.
Yeah. A lot of these teams have just been – these teams in the top 10 just haven't lost a lot of games this year. I mean, only the second loss of the year for Gonzaga, and they were ranked not even inside the top 3. So it's just – there's a lot of really good teams right now.
And they were blowing everybody out, too. They had the #1 point differential in college basketball, even though Michigan beat them by 40.
Yeah, and when they play St. Mary's, it's going to be fun. Tomorrow night, too, you got St. John's and UConn playing, so that should be fun. Okay, let's end the news with this. We do have to look at the community calendar presented by Bresky Siding and Building Repair. Tomorrow morning is Wake Up Midland from the Midland Business Alliance, and it's at the Great Hall Banquet and Convention Center. That's at 7 a.m. if you want to go check that out.
Perfect. I'll be getting ready for a show. Hey, winter in Michigan can be freezing. Looks like we're getting another, would you call this a storm? It just looks like it's snowing, and it doesn't look like the roads are very good. People are driving by. It looks like they're going slower than normal. They can get brutal, winters in this state. Last thing you want is your furnace to quit on you when it's freezing outside. That's where Answer Heating and Cooling comes in. They get your furnace running efficiently so you can stay warm inside your home so you don't have to wear 7 sweatshirts while you're watching the big game. Fast, reliable. That is Answer Heating and Cooling, keeping Midland homes cozy all winter long. typically we have two traditions to close out every show, but since we're not on the radio, we're going to skip the Guessing Collins Open one. So that means we've got our lock of the day. Kyle, since you've been gone, I've been hot, man. I haven't lost a bet yet.
Yeah, dude, what's going on? I mean, I leave for a couple of days, and all of a sudden you just nail every bet. Like,
we might need you to remove yourself.
I know.
permanently.
Should I just leave more often? Yeah. Updated stats for Ben in the lock of the day: 3.54 units up in the Big 2-6 right now. You're 2-0-1 this week because you had a push last night. Wolves by 2. They won by 2. You don't see that very often.
You don't see that spread very often.
Right.
Suspicious.
Yeah, by 2, that is kind of odd. But you
Then
did
it pushes.
win the first 2 weeks. So you're 13-10-1 right now record-wise as far as in 2026. And you are 1.8 units up on the week. Where are you going today?
Trying to remember what I told you.
So here's my question, actually. If you win today, does it count as the win streak from Monday, Tuesday? Like, what does the push mean? Does it cancel out the win streak? I think it does, right? It's like a tie.
I didn't lose.
You didn't lose, but you, like...
It's not a perfect week, but it's a week without a loss.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like
you
if I
you
were
haven't
to win
lost
the next
any.
two.
You haven't lost
no, a
anything.
lot of
yeah.
work to still be done, Kyle.
Of course.
This
of course.
week.
Well, I was just saying, does it count as like the win streak if you win today? Because your all-time win streak is 3. You've never won 4 days.
My all-time win streak's only 3.
Yes.
I don't think it's a push. It doesn't extend the win streak, but it doesn't end the win streak.
Oh, so yeah, that's what I meant. So if you win today, then it would still be a 3-day win streak.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
I've never won 4 in a row.
Never once.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, even like in 2025, you've done 3 like a ton of times, but yeah.
All right, give me the Suns tonight by 6.5. The Warriors just traded away 2 rotation guys in Buddy Hield and Jonathan Kuminga, and the guys they're getting in replacement are certainly not playing tonight. So I think they're going to be shorthanded against this Suns team that we know very well because the Pistons have played them twice and have had 2 absolute dogfights with this team. So I think the Suns, with the physical defense, try-hard method that they play with, take it to Golden State without a couple of rotation guys and no one to replace them with. So I've got the Suns by 6.5.
Cool.
Taylor fade.
I think they should not. They should just take out NBA games on the trade deadline day. There should be no games.
I like to bet on.
Because no, there should just
in
be
general?
no games. There should just be no games because all these teams that make big trades, like the Chicago Bulls, who's playing for the Bulls tonight?
No idea.
They have so many guys that have been traded away. So I think that they should just get rid of it.
You're saying Toronto minus 8.5?
Toronto's made some trades too. That's what I'm saying. Like you just
On the
never know.
back-to-back, though?
It's just it's such a tough day to look at.
Washington just sent 4 guys away. The Pistons play them tonight. It's only 14.5 point
right.
spread.
But like, what if the Pistons make a trade right now and all of a sudden they have guys? So it's just I don't know. It's a mess. They should have no games today. It's all messed up. Anyways, it would feel wrong if I came on here and was like, I'm fading because you've been doing so well. But also, did you only do well because I was gone?
Maybe you're my
Now,
bad
if
luck.
you're coming back, then you're bound to lose. No, after what Colin Gillespie and Dylan Brooks and Grayson Allen have been doing for the Suns, I feel this is a pretty good pick. So I will tail this.
All right, we're going to skip Collins Open, like I said, because we're not even on the radios today. So appreciate everyone for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Like and subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Just search 100.9 The Mid on TikTok, The Ben Bosscher Show. Can't wait to talk to you guys tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Hopefully we have a Skubal deal. I think Skubal's probably just going to win. He's probably going to have a $32 million salary this season. And then it's just a matter of, well, are Skubal and Valdez going to be the best duo in the American League, or are they going to split